Chapter 1554. After Night Sorrow and the other two returned to the courtyard, Lu Yun cleaned up the courtyard and went to rest in the side room beside the gatehouse. Night Sorrow's courtyard was in the shape of a courtyard house. It was a courtyard house in a small garden. However, the small garden was not big. After all, it was just a small courtyard house. Dachura and Night Sorrow stayed in the main room. At this time, Dachura made tea and chatted with Night Sorrow. He asked about Night Sorrow's cultivation situation. Night Sorrow told Dachura about his situation. With the help of the Haotian god Pagoda, Night Sorrow's cultivation and realm were rapidly increasing. The level of his battle intent was constantly deepening. In addition, he was deducing a few sub-attribute willpower. The void willpower was perfected. Night Sorrow began to combine the void willpower and battle intent to study the void world. It was a kind of heaven and earth trend. In addition, Night Sorrow's comprehension of the space-time willpower had reached the level of an 8-point monarch. In other words, he had comprehended the space-time willpower to 98%. He was just 2 points away from perfecting it and reaching the Heaven Monarch realm. There was a clerical error in the previous chapter. It was not an 8-star king but an 8-point monarch. The comprehension of the destruction willpower was also relatively smooth. With the support of time and the Haotian god Pagoda, the comprehension was very fast. You should seize the time to cultivate. Cultivate your highest achievement to the imperial realm. Then, your height will increase greatly, Dachura said. I think so too. Now, I have studied the combination of battle intent and the void willpower. Once the combination is complete, I will reach the half-step imperial realm. I can follow this path to reach the imperial realm. How about your situation? Now, I feel that you are no longer a heavenly monarch. Night Sorrow looked at Dachura and asked. After I refined Dachura Chinensis's source energy and fused with her source energy, I comprehended a new ability called the Death Domain. It is the embryonic form of the momentum of heaven and earth. When I completely comprehend it, it will become the momentum of heaven and earth. According to the current situation of the fusion, when I completely fuse with it, I will reach the Emperor realm. However, it will take a long time and there will be bottlenecks. After all, this is a breakthrough in the realm, Dachura said. It's a good thing. This is all hope, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Then, since you have the yellow spring stone, can you comprehend the law of death and the will of death? Dachura thought of another question. My original body has never stopped researching the will of nothingness and the will of spacetime. Now that I have the will of destruction, I don't have the energy to research anything else. The yellow spring stone is in this body of mine, so I don't know if I can comprehend it specifically. Night Sorrow shook his head. Yes, you have too many things now, and they are all high-end and top-notch. Let's put the death attribute aside for now. Dachura nodded. Also, the two of us have to be careful. They can't do anything to us in Treasure-Seeking Street during the day. They might use underhanded methods. We have to be careful. Assassination is possible, Night Sorrow said. That is a possibility. However, as long as they don't come to the Emperor realm, the two of us can handle it, Dachura said. She was not only confident in herself, but also in Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow had killed a half-step Emperor realm expert twice. Lai Bing and Evil Bing were examples. There were also examples of killing an Emperor realm expert. The Magic Dragon General's clone had also fallen in the hands of Night Sorrow. Just as the two of them were talking, there was a commotion outside. Glancing at Dachura, Night Sorrow reached out and pulled out the space-splitting spear. Ah Luo, help me restrain the opponent while protecting yourself. Don't go back today. At this moment, 4 heaven monarchs appeared around Night Sorrow's small courtyard. There were also 2 monarch realm experts outside. This was the strength that Yang Yu and Gong Xian could mobilize. In the celestial realm, there were very few Emperor realm experts. If one wanted to occupy a territory and become a king, he or she would be a warlord. There weren't many heaven monarchs either. Even people like Yang Yu and Gong Xian could only mobilize a limited amount of people. After all, not everyone could cultivate to the heaven monarch realm. One shot. There were many heaven monarchs in the Guanyue prefecture and the Tianyang prefecture, but they weren't people that the two of them could mobilize. This time, there were 4 people. 2 were with Yang Yu, 2 were with Gong Xian, and one of them was with Ghost Monkey. Because the courtyard was small, The array that Night Sorrow could set up was limited. Therefore it was easily broken through. Yang Yu and Gong Xian also appeared in the small courtyard. Both of them were heaven monarchs. The 7 prefecture lords were all emperors. Their children's aptitudes were naturally not bad. In addition, they had unlimited resources. Therefore, it wasn't a problem for them to cultivate to the king or monarch realm. If they were lucky enough, they could become heaven monarchs. You really have no bottom line. Come on then. The energy on Night Sorrow's body vibrated. The mystic yellow armor protected his back. Then, he waved the space-splitting spear and charged toward Yang Yu. Kill! Yang Yu also shouted. At this moment, the Monarch Realm experts outside the courtyard activated the array disc. They activated the array disc to cover up the battle here. They didn't want others to find out and patrol teams to come. Night Sorrow wanted to kill Yang Yu. Naturally, Yang Yu and Gong Xian's men wouldn't just stand by and watch. They directly waved their weapons and charged toward Night Sorrow. After using the afterimage body, Night Sorrow's space-splitting spear stabbed toward a heaven monarch in front. With the improvement of his cultivation, Night Sorrow's afterimage body had reached a level where it was hard to distinguish between the real and the fake. Seeing an opponent charging toward them, the heaven monarchs all waved their weapons to block. This allowed Night Sorrow to easily approach the heaven monarch in front. If he wanted to kill Yang Yu, this heaven monarch would be an obstacle. Void to Origin kill. Night Sorrow attacked with the space-splitting spear and directly used the Void to Origin kill. Seeing Night Sorrow attack, the heaven monarch attacked with the long sword in his hand. He stabbed toward Night Sorrow's space-splitting spear. With a loud explosion, the tip of the heaven monarch's long sword was punctured. At the same time, his body was sent flying. Night Sorrow's body shook and continued to charge forward. The space-splitting spear shook and turned into the void to extreme kill. Since the opponent had already come to kill him, Night Sorrow didn't hold back and continuously used his killing moves. This spear was extremely fast. The right arm of the heaven monarch blocking the way was still numb. He could only endure the intense discomfort in his body and wave his sword to block Night Sorrow's attack. However, everything was in vain. Night Sorrow's space-splitting spear had an energy vibration and directly blocked the long sword that didn't have much energy. The space-splitting spear directly entered the heaven monarch's chest and abdomen. Then, a purple halo exploded and destroyed the heaven monarch's dantian from his chest to abdomen. In this heaven monarch's horrified eyes, Night Sorrow's space-splitting spear pierced through the heaven monarch's forehead. After kicking the heaven monarch's corpse away, Night Sorrow charged toward Yang Yu. Today, Night Sorrow's main target was Yang Yu. If he didn't get rid of Yang Yu, trouble would continue to exist. Seeing Night Sorrow kill his heaven monarch subordinate with just 2 moves, Yang Yu's expression changed. He waved his hand and asked another heaven monarch to stop Night Sorrow. He drew his long sword and was ready to fight. During this period, Yang Yu hadn't fought. It wasn't that he wasn't strong enough. It was that he didn't want to fight with Night Sorrow because he was the son of the Tianyang Prefecture Master. Chapter 1555. Besiege. At this moment, aside from the heaven monarch that was being held back by Dachira, Ghost Monkey and another heaven monarch charged towards Night Sorrow. Yang Yu and Gong Xian Yu also made their move. The 4 of them surrounded Night Sorrow. Today is the day that you, a native, will pay the price for your blindness. Yang Yu brandished a sword aura towards Night Sorrow. Perhaps you are right. Today is the day that you will pay the price. However, perhaps you will be the one to pay the price for your arrogance. Night Sorrow's body flashed as he dodged the besiegement. He then brandished his space splitter spear and charged towards Yang Yu. Night Sorrow's main target was Yang Yu. Normally, Night Sorrow would kill Gong Xianyu first. However, Gong Xianyu was a woman, and Night Sorrow had not reached the point where he had to capture and kill a woman. Therefore, Yang Yu became his first target. Yang Yu was the son of an Imperial Realm expert. The consequences of killing him were very serious. However, Night Sorrow could not bear it. He had to kill him first. As for the consequences, he would deal with it later. Yang Yu brandished his sword and attacked Night Sorrow. He then quickly retreated. He had seen the strength of Night Sorrow's attacks. Therefore, he did not want to clash head-on with Night Sorrow. Since he had decided to kill, Night Sorrow would not hold back. He also would not be soft-hearted. The Space Splitter Spear executed the Great Emperor Samsara slash. At the same time, the Space Splitter Spear was unleashed. It slashed towards the back and blocked the attacks of Gong Xianyu and the others. Then, the soul-extinguishing slash was sent towards Yang Yu. However, Gong Xian's speed was extremely fast. His figure flashed twice, crossing the spatial rift's blockade. Then, he slashed his sword at Night Sorrow's waist. Seeing that Gong Xian had taken the initiative to attack, Yang Yu stopped retreating and rushed forward. At the same time, a red light appeared on his head, blocking the halo produced by Night Sorrow's Emperor Samsara slash. Then, he unsheathed his sword to meet Night Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear. At this moment, he felt that this was an opportunity. An opportunity to kill Night Sorrow together with Gong Xian. Night Sorrow understood that Yang Yu had a soul defense treasure. Although his absolute art had no effect on the soul, its effect on space-time was still there. Yang Yu's speed was obviously much slower. Night Sorrow did not dodge Gong Xianyu's sword attack. Instead, he kicked out with his right leg. His target was Gong Xianyu's dantian. The Space Splitter Spear continued forward. It was the Nihility returning to origin. Gong Xianyu's sword erupted with an intense light. Then, it stabbed towards Night Sorrow's waist. Die! However, Gong Xianyu's sword did not pierce Night Sorrow's waist. Gong Xianyu's sword did not pierce through. The defense of Night Sorrow's mysterious yellow armor was not something that Gong Xianyu could break through. As for the small amount of sword chi that had pierced through, it was nothing compared to Night Sorrow's virtuous immortal body's defense. However, at this moment, Night Sorrow's attack arrived. His right leg was like a giant axe as it chopped down on Gong Xianyu's chest. Night Sorrow's kick was so powerful that Gong Xianyu looked as if he had been hit by a giant beast. His originally proud pair of surging breasts were smashed flat. His entire chest caved in, and his dantian's true chi was scattered. He had no power to fight back. Seeing Gong Xianyu fly backwards, Ghost Monkey's expression changed. He no longer cared about attacking Night Sorrow. His body flashed as he grabbed Gong Xianyu's body and rushed out of the courtyard. He knew that this was impossible. He understood Gong Xianyu's strength. Not only had he failed to break through Night Sorrow's defense, but he had also been kicked out of the courtyard by Night Sorrow. How could he continue fighting? If Night Sorrow grabbed Gong Xianyu and killed Gong Xianyu, then Gong Xianyu would definitely die. 6 heaven monarchs had come tonight. Night Sorrow had killed one of them. Gong Xianyu and Ghost Monkey had retreated from the battle. Datura was suppressing another heaven monarch. If it wasn't for his strong soul spirit defense, he would have been a corpse by now. Only Yang Yu and another heaven monarch were left. These were the opponents that Night Sorrow had to face. After crippling Gong Xianyu with a kick, Night Sorrow used the Void Return to Origin kill with his Space Splitter Spear and attacked Yang Yu. Gong Xianyu's defeat shocked Yang Yu. At this moment, he was facing Night Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear attack. It was too late for him to retreat. He could only continue to attack Night Sorrow with his sword. If you think I'm easy to bully, then go to hell. Night Sorrow didn't care about the other heaven monarch attacking his back. He moved his Space Splitter Spear down by 1 foot, dodging Yang Yu's sword, and stabbed towards Yang Yu's dantian. Yang Yu's face was filled with fear. At this moment, he remembered that Gong Xianyu's full-strength sword attack couldn't hurt Night Sorrow. Therefore, Night Sorrow didn't need to worry about the damage of his sword. What about him? If he was hit, he would definitely die. In a panic, Yang Yu pressed his sword down with his right hand and grabbed Night Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear with his left hand. He grabbed it. Yang Yu's sword didn't suppress Night Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear, but it still slowed down the spear. Therefore, his left hand successfully grabbed the Space Splitter Spear. Night Sorrow's right hand burst with energy. The spear light shot out and rushed towards Yang Yu's dantian. Then, he used his left hand to attack Yang Yu's head with oscillating fist. Faster $new Q fastest I up FW at this time. Yang Yu's subordinate, the Heavenly Monarch, also stabbed Night Sorrow's back. Although it didn't pierce through Night Sorrow's defense, the force pushed Night Sorrow forward. This force pushed the Space Splitter Spear forward another half a foot. Night Sorrow's body and Yang Yu's body were already very close. Bang! Night Sorrow's left fist landed on Yang Yu's head. However, Yang Yu's Divine Sea's defensive treasure was very powerful. Not only could it block soul attacks, It could also block material attacks. It also blocked Night Sorrow's punch and didn't let Yang Yu's head explode. So what if it didn't explode? Night Sorrow's violent punch shook Yang Yu until he was bleeding from his 7 orifices. Naturally, his hands, which were controlling Night Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear, lost their strength. Night Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear instantly pierced Yang Yu's Dantian and then exploded with energy. With his Dantian broken and his cultivation destroyed, Yang Yu woke up. However, he was faced with Night Sorrow's left fist again. Like a watermelon, without Yang Yu's self-activated defensive treasure, it lost its power and could no longer protect Yang Yu. Yang Yu's head was directly smashed. A red bead appeared in front of Night Sorrow's eyes. Night Sorrow casually scooped up the red bead and shot back with his spear. Yang Yu's subordinate, who was constantly attacking him like a chick eating rice, was sent flying. At this time, Dachura also killed his opponent. After killing his opponent, Dachura flew into the air and slashed with his hollow blade. The blade light enveloped the heavenly monarch who was beaten back by Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow didn't join forces with Dachura to attack this heavenly monarch. Instead, he put away Yang Yu's storage ring and weapon and then watched Dachura's battle. After 2 consecutive slashes, Dachura shocked his opponent to the point that he couldn't resist. Then, he used the Great Death Destruction Slash and killed this heavenly monarch with 1 slash. He didn't even have a chance to escape. 6 heavenly monarchs came, and 4 of them died. Only Ghost Monkey escaped with Gong Xianyu. At this time, the patrol team arrived. It was led by a heavenly monarch. They directly took control of the team that Yang Yu and Gong Xianyu brought over outside the courtyard. Night Sorrow and Dachura also came out. Chapter 1556. Lord Heavenly Monarch, this is my courtyard. Just now, Guanyue Prefecture's young prefecture Lord Gong Xianyu and Tianyang Prefecture's young prefecture Lord Yang Yu brought people here to attack us, Night Sorrow said. It's Night Heaven Master. I just recognized you. Young Mistress told me to focus on patrolling this area. I was careless. The Heavenly Monarch leading the team cupped his hands at Night Sorrow. He was still angry because he had dealt with the 2 sovereigns who refused to be captured. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, he recognized Night Sorrow. When Guanyue Prefecture and Tianyang Prefecture were mentioned, he also thought of Night Sorrow. This matter had caused quite a stir. It's nothing. Thank you for your hard work, Lord Heavenly Monarch, Night Sorrow said. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, what's the situation? The Heavenly Monarch asked. He was the patrol captain of Guanyue Prefecture, Jiangmu. 6 heavenly monarchs came. Only Gong Xianyu and Ghost Marquis escaped, Night Sorrow said. Yang Yu. Yang Yu is dead? Jiangmu was shocked. Yes, he's dead. Night Sorrow nodded. Jiangmu exhaled. This was a big deal. The prefecture lord's son had been killed. This had not happened for many years. Recently, it had happened one after another. Not long ago, the Dark Shadow Prefecture's young prefecture lord was killed. This was another one. The situation is a little serious. Be careful. Night Heaven Master. I have to go back and report. Jiangmu cupped his hands at Night Sorrow and left with the captured people. Night Sorrow and Dachura returned to the prefecture. Lu Yun looked at the 2 in shock because there were 4 corpses in the courtyard. They were all heavenly monarchs. Night Sorrow, we have to make plans to escape. Haha. But it's fine. Killing Yang Yu can be considered as venting our anger, Dachura said. Night Sorrow nodded. It's a clone, but this loss will make him furious. Perhaps the Heavenly Sun Prefecture Master will step in. Young Master, isn't there a rule in Ethereal Imperial City? They can't do as they please, right? Lu Yun looked at Night Sorrow and said, rules need to be obeyed, but they are also meant to be broken. If the Heavenly Sun Prefecture Master were to take action against us, it would be like a sudden clap of thunder. The patrols wouldn't even be able to catch a shadow of him, so it would be pointless to be killed by him. Night Sorrow shook his head. Night Sorrow, what do you think we should do? If it doesn't work, we'll leave. It's not too late to leave now. Dachura also knew the seriousness of the matter. But even so, he still had to do what he had to do. As a cultivator, He could not allow his dignity to be trampled on. Treasure-seeking street. Let's go to treasure-seeking street now. There are many people there, but it's unrealistic for anyone to attack us without anyone noticing. Would the Heavenly Sun Prefecture Master dare to break the rules of the ethereal battle monarch in public? I don't think he would dare, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a moment. After making the decision, Night Sorrow and the other two went directly to Treasure-Seeking Street. There was a back hall in Treasure-Seeking Street where one could rest. Many of the stalls were their homes. Night Sorrow and the other two had calmed down, but the trouble they had caused was too big. When the seriously injured Gong Xianyu returned to his residence, Guanyue Prefecture Master Gong Yufan knew about it. Gong Xianyu was in a dispirited state. His cultivation had almost been destroyed by Night Sorrow's kick. Although his dantian had not been shattered, he was still seriously injured. Seeing the injured Gong Xianyu, Gong Yufan's face was filled with anger. He waved his hand and slapped Ghost Monkey. What are you doing? Is this how you protect the young miss? Prefecture Master, the opponent was too strong. We sent 6 heavenly monarchs. Perhaps only the young miss and I managed to escape, Ghost Monkey said after he regained his footing. Tell me the details. Gong Yufan glared at Ghost Monkey. Ghost Monkey bowed and explained the situation. Go and investigate the situation. See how that brat Yongyu is doing. Gong Yufan instructed Ghost Monkey. He wanted to vent his anger, but he was not brainless. As one of the 7 prefecture masters, Gong Yufan was very smart. Guanyue Prefecture was fine, but Tianyang Prefecture was in an uproar. Yang Yu's original body went to find his father, Yang Tianlai, and asked him to seek justice for him. Are you stupid? Why wouldn't you let others do this? I already warned you that there are no good people in Guanyue Prefecture. You still wanted to mix with that fickle woman. Serves you right. Yang Tianlai scolded. Yang Yu, who was scolded, did not say anything. He never expected that he and Gong Xianyu would be killed so miserably when they went to kill Night Sorrow with 4 heavenly monarchs. Stay at home. Don't go out. Yang Tianlai glared at Yang Yu and left. According to Yang Yu, Yang Tianlai arrived at Night Sorrow's residence. After checking that there was no one there, Yang Tianlai knew that Night Sorrow had left. He was here to kill. The place was not crowded, and he was a great emperor. If he wanted to kill someone, he could leave. The patrols would not be able to see him. Now that Night Sorrow was not here, Yang Tianlai knew that Night Sorrow had already thought of this step. Yang Tianlai arrived at Treasure-Seeking Street, but things would not end here. Yang Tianlai arrived at Night Sorrow's stall. Even at night, Treasure-Seeking Street was filled with feasting and revelry, but it could not hide his aura. Get out here! Yang Tianlai shouted when he arrived at Night Sorrow's stall. Night Sorrow and Datura were drinking tea in the back hall when Yang Tianlai arrived. At the same time, Duan Yu secretly crushed Wu Feng's messaging crystal. Hearing Yang Tianlai's shout, Night Sorrow walked out. Shouting and shouting? Is it very impressive? You dare to kill this seat's son. You will die. Yang Tianlai's eyes were filled with coldness. Your son would say the same thing, but he is dead. Arrogant? What right do you have to be so arrogant? With your cultivation and status? If you were the owner of Ethereal Dynasty, or if you were stronger than Ethereal Battle Emperor, then you would have no problem. But can you do it now? Night Sorrow replied indifferently. Night Sorrow's words were harsh. If Yang Tianlai dared to say anything, it would be a great disrespect to Ethereal Battle Emperor. The consequences would be severe. Ethereal Battle Emperor stood at the pinnacle of all cultivators. He was number 1 on the Celestial Demon list. His dignity could not be blasphemed. Yang Tianlai did not dare. You are just an outsider. How dare you order our Ethereal Dynasty around? Yang Tianlai's killing intent was getting stronger. I am an outsider in your eyes, but you are trash in my eyes. A crooked stick will have a crooked shadow. You are not a good person either. If you want to fight, then go ahead. I don't care. It is just a clone. I can use my clone to fight you until you are punished by the rules of Ethereal Imperial City. Night Sorrow said. He was not afraid of Yang Tianlai. Because you are an outsider, there are some things that you do not understand. You will understand after you die today. Lord Battle Emperor, I, Yang Tianlai, will kill someone today. It is not that I am disrespectful to you, but I will ask for your forgiveness after this. Yang Tianlai took out a crystal ball and recorded his words. Then, he kept the crystal ball and looked at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was a little stunned. He did not expect Yang Tianlai to be so playful. Chapter 1557. I ate free small tea. Say Monarch Wufeng wants to interfere in this matter? Yang Tianlai turned to look at Wufeng. Yes, I owe him a favor. As for your conflict, he's a heavenly monarch. The Heavenly Sun Prefecture's heavenly monarchs can do whatever they want, even if they want to kill me. If he can't survive, it's his own fault. However, if you want to interfere, it won't make sense, right? Wufeng didn't beat around the bush and directly expressed his attitude. Is there room for negotiation? Yang Tianlai asked. There's no room for negotiation. Wufeng shook his head and also answered with 3 words. Yang Tianlai didn't say anything else to Wufeng. He glanced at Night Sorrow and left. You've got guts, brat. Then, go to the blood battle stage and accept my challenge. Night Sorrow thanks Brother Wufeng. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Wufeng. Brat, how did you provoke him? Wufeng shook his head with a smile. I killed his son. I don't know if it was his true body or a clone, but he came looking for me. Night Sorrow told him the reason Yang Tianlai had come looking for trouble. You killed his son? When did that happen? Make me a pot of tea first and we'll talk. Wufeng was stunned for a moment after hearing Night Sorrow's words. Datura made the tea. Night Sorrow invited Wufeng to sit down and then told him about the attack on the villa tonight. You killed him well. Since that old fellow came looking for trouble, I'll do my best to help you block him. If I can't block him, then we'll talk about it, Wufeng said. I didn't expect things to be so serious that even the rules are useless, Night Sorrow said. Things had really exceeded his expectations. The 7 prefecture lords are the administrators of the Ethereal Empire and subordinates of the Ethereal Battle Emperor. They have to maintain the order set by the Battle Emperor, but they can talk to the Battle Emperor. All they did was kill a heavenly monarch and ask for forgiveness. It's not a big deal, Wufeng said to Night Sorrow. I was too simple-minded and brought trouble to Brother Wufeng, Night Sorrow said apologetically. Yang Tianlai is easy to deal with, but Old Gong is hard to deal with. He's Emperor Scheming, one of the 7 prefecture lords of the Ethereal Empire. He's the most difficult to deal with. He doesn't even use his blade to kill. Hence, he's expanding his influence and snatching talents from other prefecture lords' territories. None of the other prefecture lords are willing to offend him, Wufeng said. That Gong Xian was severely injured by me. I'm guessing that he's already made up his mind. The other party won't give up, Night Sorrow said. Let's take a look at the situation first. If it doesn't work out, I'll send you to a friend of mine and work for her army. Yang Tianlai and Old Gong won't be able to touch you, Edgeless said. Afterward, Edgeless told Night Sorrow that he knew one of the 7 prefecture lords, Prefecture Lord Song Ning. Prefecture Lord Song Ning used to be the Ethereal Battle Emperor's close follower and sister. Her strength was shocking. Now, she was the #1 prefecture lord among the 7 prefecture lords. She controlled the Song Ning army, which was above the city's patrol team. With your strength, you can go to the Song Ning army and become a captain. But that's for later. Let's see what those 2 old men have up their sleeves, Edgeless said. Thank you, Brother Wufeng. There's nothing to thank. This is wine from my hometown. It was brewed by my wife. Night Sorrow took out a bottle of green blood wine. Don't be so polite. When we do things, it's all about fate. You're just like me in the past. But you're much stronger than me. You have to try good wine, Seamless said with a smile. After drinking the green blood wine, Night Sorrow took out a few jars of wine for Wufeng. One of them was dragon root wine. The dragon root wine had been brewed by Qing Ji from the 5-clawed pterodactyl's corpse that Night Sorrow had obtained in the 9 Realms world. If someone with a low cultivation base drank it, it would have other effects. If someone with a high cultivation base drank it would replenish their blood qi, and it would only be a small amount. I'll take it. As long as you give me good wine, I'll take it, Wufeng said. Brother Wufeng, I'll work hard. When my cultivation is higher, I'll find a way to solve your problem, Night Sorrow said to Wufeng. Oh, I would have forgotten about that if you didn't mention it. It's doable. Work hard. Wufing patted Night Sorrow's shoulder and tossed him a messaging crystal before leaving. Duan Yu followed Wufing to a secluded place. Keep an eye on this place. Send some people to his residence as well. If a great emperor cultivator appears, call me, Wufing said. Although he had left a message crystal for Yi Shang, he was worried that Yi Shang would be too stubborn to bother him if something happened. This subordinate understands. This fellow is a troublemaker. He probably won't hold back. There will be more. Duan Yu already knew that Night Sorrow had killed Yang Yu. He had learned about it when Wufing and Night Sorrow were chatting. Night Sorrow, this brother of yours is very impressive. That Yang Tianlai didn't even flare up and immediately retreated. Dechira, who was drinking tea with Night Sorrow in a stall, said. Strength. Brother Wufing is very strong. Yang Tianlai clearly couldn't contend against you. Besides, he was in the wrong and had no choice but to retreat. This also shows how domineering Brother Wufing is. Night Sorrow nodded. Young master, this is a big favor, Lu Yun said. No, it's not a favor. Brother Wufing helped me without asking for anything in return. I also don't feel like I owe anyone a favor. As long as Brother Wufing needs it, I will do it if I can, Night Sorrow said. Lu Yun was stunned. Night Sorrow's philosophy was indeed very strange. At the same time, Duan Yu, who was passing by Night Sorrow's shop, was also stunned. He didn't expect Night Sorrow to have such thoughts. However, this idea was very much to his liking. He also understood that Wufing was right to help Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow, you still have to be careful. When Yang Tianlai left, he mentioned something about the blood battle arena. I don't think it's anything good, Dechira said. I know about the blood battle arena. In fact, it's a place to settle grudges. Although martial arts are prohibited in the city, grudges still have to be settled. The blood battle arena is a place to fight to the death. It's also a place where many ruthless people train themselves. Once they enter, they will have to fight to the death, Night Sorrow said. It's very dangerous. Dechira looked at Night Sorrow. She wanted to know Night Sorrow's decision. The blood battle arena can't be forced. If you want to fight, then fight. If you don't want to, then don't fight. However, if someone asks you to fight, it's very embarrassing not to fight. Night Sorrow looked at Dechira and said. That's fine. Let's see how they come. With Brother Wufing's help, they won't be able to use some of their methods. We don't have to be too afraid. If it's not possible, then don't fight. Can they still bite? Dechira said. Yes, we're not afraid of heaven monarchs. If it's an Imperial Realm expert, then we won't fight. Besides, if an Imperial Realm expert asks King to fight in the blood battle arena, their faces will be smashed to the ground, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Very good. How comfortable. We killed a few people and still have nothing to do, Dechira said with a smile. Chapter 1558. You fought a lot. This treasure is suitable for you. Don't give it to me, said Dechira. During the battle in the courtyard, Dechira had witnessed Yang Yu's defense. She knew the power of this red bead. Not only could it defend against soul attacks, but it was also effective against material attacks. Thus, she wanted to leave it for Night Sorrow. My soul defense is unbreakable. You should know this. So, it's suitable for you. Don't decline. Night Sorrow didn't make it too obvious. The walls had ears, and the 9 regions origin bead was his greatest trump card. That's true. I'll keep it then. Dechira smiled. She had delayed it because she was worried about Night Sorrow. Now that she had calmed down, she thought of Night Sorrow's soul defense. It was the protection of the world's origin. Some defensive treasures simply couldn't compare. Night Sorrow also had another soul defense treasure. It was the cyan jade bracelet he had obtained from Shadow Manor's young manor lord, Luo Fei. Perhaps its level was slightly lower than Yang Yu's red bead. Back then, Luo Fei had still been affected by his lost technique. Of course, it was also related to his own cultivation. Before obtaining Yang Yu's protective pearl, Night Sorrow had planned to give the cyan jade bracelet to Dechira. Because of that, he had forgotten to give it to her because he had too many things to do. Now, Night Sorrow planned to give it to his main body. Or rather, when his main body fought, he would use the origin bead and give the cyan jade bracelet to his clone. After all, Knight Sorrow lacked a soul defense treasure. Dachira went to the back hall to refine the red bead. Knight Sorrow told Lu Yun to look after the stall. He also went to the back hall. Then, he called Dachira, who was about to meditate, to enter the 8-dragon cauldron. "This spatial treasure of yours isn't bad either," said Dachira. "I refined it some time ago. Now, it has a spatial acceleration effect of 10 times. It's also an amazing treasure," said Knight Sorrow with a smile. After that, Knight Sorrow and Dachira went to refine the soul defense treasure. However, it was somewhat troublesome. The original owner of the treasure was still alive. Regardless of whether it was the original body or the clone, their soul imprints were still inside the treasure. It was very difficult for a cultivator with a lower cultivation base to break the soul imprint of a cultivator with a higher cultivation base. However, Yang Yu and Luo Fei's soul powers were obviously not comparable to Knight Sorrow and Dachira. Let alone being stronger than Knight Sorrow and Dachira, they were not even comparable. Soon, their soul imprints were broken one after another. At this moment, Luo Fei, who was meditating in a mansion within the Dark Shadow Mansion, opened his eyes. "Damn it, don't let me know your true identity." Luo Fei's eyes were bloodshot. He had lost his true body, which was a huge loss. That day, he had to attend a friend's birthday party. Both his true body and his clone had to go. His clone went to the party while his true body went to the City of Shadows. Unfortunately, his true body was killed. Luo Fei hated the fact that his true body was killed. Therefore, when he returned, he went to find his father, Luo Yuandao, for a divination. However, the divination told him that Killer Shang was a member of the Castle of Gods and Demons. However, Luo Fei knew that some people would meet again. If they were fated to meet again, they would not meet again. Although Luo Fei's true body was killed, some of his soul still existed. He was trying to fuse with his clone to see if there would be any changes. Even if there was a slight change, it would at least improve in the future. However, the chances of him entering the realm of Emperor were very slim. Luo Fei was already very angry. Now that he had lost contact with the jade bracelet, he knew that it had been refined. Therefore, he was especially furious. That green jade bracelet was a treasure of the Heavenly Tao. It was formed from the green lotus of Heavenly Tao. After being nourished by one's soul, it could continuously evolve. Luo Fei had not been in possession of it for very long. After refining the cyan jade bracelet, Yi Shang learned this information. He knew that this was a Heavenly Tao treasure created by a rank 9 green lotus in a spatial world. There was still a lot of room for improvement. Luo Fei hadn't used its full power yet. This made Knight Sorrow very happy. He stored the bracelet in his spiritual sea and nourished it with his soul energy. After Knight Sorrow finished refining the bracelet, he brewed a pot of tea and waited for Dachira. Dachira took a long time to refine the red bead. It took him 6 days and 6 nights. It was as if an entire night had passed in the outside world. "How is it?" Knight Sorrow asked. "Very powerful. Do you know what it is?" "It's the blood scale divine bead of the top divine beasts." "I didn't expect Yang Yu to have such a treasure," Dachira said. "You mean it's the divine bead of the blood scale divine bead of the same level as the golden dragon?" Knight Sorrow asked in surprise. "Yes. I don't know where Yang Yu got it. This thing has a cause and effect. However, we didn't get it from the blood scale tribe, so it's not a big problem. The big problem is who took it from the blood scale tribe," Dachira said. "That's good. We don't care about anything else. It's not like we stole it from the blood scale tribe," Knight Sorrow said. Dachira nodded. She didn't need to worry about those things. Dachira had erased the soul imprint that Yang Yu had left in the blood scale divine bead. Yang Yu knew immediately. He was so angry that he smashed everything in his mansion into pieces. "What's wrong with you?" Yang Tianlai appeared in Yang Yu's mansion. 8p_forever6 exempt /c look. Small equals say. "Father, the blood scale divine bead soul imprint was erased by those 2 bastards," Yang Yu said. "Then we have to endure it for now. We'll deal with them when the time comes." Yang Tianlia's face looked terrible. He hadn't expected Wu Feng to show up. He couldn't afford to offend Wu Feng. Wu Feng was very powerful. Besides, there was one person he couldn't afford to offend, and that was Congning Prefecture Lord. Father, can't you just kill him directly? Can you take the bead back? Yang Yu asked in confusion. If I can kill him, I will. I'll warn you again. Aren't the women in the mansion enough for you? If you dare to look for that slut again, I'll kill you. Yang Tianlai glared at his son. He knew what was going on in the moon-viewing mansion. Gong Yufan was good at scheming, so Yang Tianlai was afraid that he would be tricked. The 7 prefecture lords were all subordinates of the ethereal battle emperor, but they didn't get along well with each other. Each of them represented a family or a force, so there were conflicts. As the saying goes, where there are people, there will be conflicts. Yang Yu was a little stunned. He thought that if his father showed up, things would be resolved. He didn't expect things to be this bad. I'll set up the blood battle arena. I don't believe I can't kill him. Yang Tianlia's eyes were full of anger. It wasn't just because his son's clone had been killed and the blood-scale divine bead had been stolen. It was also because Wu Feng didn't give him any face. If he had been a peacemaker, he could have accepted it. But Wu Feng stood on Night Sorrow's side and went against him. Chapter 1559. Gong Yufan had also received all the information, including the news of Yang Yu's clone's death and Wu Feng's appearance. Gong Yufan did not say anything after receiving the news. In the end, he sent people to continue gathering information. Father, Night Sorrow humiliated our Guanyue residents. Father, you must kill him. Gong Xianyu, who had recovered a little, said. What's the hurry? Yang Tianlai is the one who suffered the greatest loss this time. Let's see how he deals with it. Xianyu, you have to know that if you want to take revenge on someone, you don't have to kill him. You have to subdue him. Make him grovel at your feet and risk his life for you. That is revenge. Do you understand? Gong Yufan said to Gong Xianyu. Night Sorrow is a talent. He is very outstanding. However, I have tried many methods, but he refused to submit. Gong Xianyu said. She had a good impression of Night Sorrow, but Night Sorrow did not give her any face. That's because he is not skilled enough. All right, let's settle this first. Yang Tianlia's son's clone has died. He has lost more face than us. Gong Yufan said. Fu, Gong Xianyu did not say anything. She no longer had the ability to deal with Night Sorrow. However, she would not give up so easily. Night Sorrow's kick had shattered her face and dignity. At this moment, Wu Feng and a woman were sitting opposite each other in the hall of a luxurious residence. There was a chessboard between them. Wu Feng, you know the rules of the Congning army. You can join, but you need to be strong. Without strength, you can't join. However, I have to give you face. He can come to my Congning residence and find something to do. The woman sitting opposite Wu Feng said. The woman had a plump face and a voluptuous figure. Her eyes were filled with a sharp aura. She was the #1 Congning of the ethereal dynasty. She was also the commander of the Congning army. Congning, you think too much. I treat that young man as a brother. You will only admire him when you see him. He is not here to make a living. Wu Feng said. You, Wu Feng, have never mentioned who you've taken a fancy to in all these years. Since you've taken a fancy to someone, sure, bring them over. Prefecture Lord Congning said with a smile. I didn't bring it here now. I just wanted to say hello to you, Wu Feng said. That's fine too. You can bring it over whenever you want. Congning's sovereign nodded. His smiling face was a stark contrast to his sharp eyes. Wu Feng stood up and saluted Congning, then left Congning's mansion. After leaving Night Sorrow's place, Edgeless helped Night Sorrow choose a path of retreat. After all, fighting to the death would not benefit Edgeless. Regardless of whether his subordinates were right or wrong, the ethereal battle emperor would always stand on their side first. He would only deal with internal affairs after dealing with external affairs. Xiao Xing. Arrange for someone to investigate this person called Night Sorrow. I want all his information. At that moment, a figure appeared. The figure nodded at him and left the manor. After refining the Green Lotus Jade bracelet, Night Sorrow began to accept orders. This time, it was more peaceful and no one came to cause trouble. Many people knew what happened last night. Jiang Mu captured many people and naturally knew the result after interrogating them. After interrogating them, Songlan Manor did not hold back and directly killed all of them. Regardless of whether they were from Sky Sun Manor or Guanyue Manor, causing trouble in Songlan Manor's territory was already a slap to Songlan Manor's face. Jiang Tianheng was not a good-tempered person. "Father, should we help Knight Sorrow? He's a good person and very talented," Jiang Yu said to Jiang Tianheng in Songlan Manor. "Baby girl, killing people from Sky Sun Manor and Guanyue Manor is equivalent to slapping them in the face. Knight Sorrow killed Yang Tianlia's son. How can Yang Tianlai let it go? Besides, there's still that old bastard Gong. His daughter was beaten so badly. He won't let it go. If we recruit Knight Sorrow now, it's equivalent to not giving them face," Jiang Tianheng shook his head and said. "Father, in fact, Gong Yufan has not given anyone face these years. He often comes to our territory to show off. Why is there a conflict? It's all because his promiscuous daughter came to our territory to seduce someone. After failing to succeed, she flew into a rage out of humiliation. That Yang Yu is a fool who only thinks with his lower body. In the end, his clone was destroyed," Jiang Yu said. "I understand what you're saying. Let's observe the situation first. Silly girl, don't tell me you like him? I've already checked. He has a wife," Jiang Tianheng said. "Father, what are you saying? I admire him very much. He's a friend and nothing else," Jiang Yu said. "Okay, I understand. Don't worry. That Wu Feng is not someone who can be provoked. Yang Tianlai can't do it, and Gong Yufan won't be stupid enough to rush up. There's going to be a lot of fun. Let's observe first," Jiang Tianheng said with a smile. He had many children. Most of them were busy cultivating or starting their own businesses. Only his youngest daughter was always by his side. Knight Sorrow's business was still very prosperous because it was a gold-plated brand. The things he refined were good and the price was not expensive. In addition, everyone knew about Knight Sorrow's matter. They all regarded Knight Sorrow as their idol because no one dared to fight with the Seven Mansions. They were the forces of Emperor Realm cultivators. When Emperor Realm cultivators moved, the earth would tremble. With business good, Knight Sorrow earned resources. In fact, he mainly focused on earning resources. He only sold 3 sets of materials and 1 set of finished products. He also continued to collect inheritances related to the 9th rank. However, on the 3rd day, someone came to Knight Sorrow. It was someone from Sky Sun Manor. "Knight Sorrow, you think you're very impressive, don't you? Our Sky Sun Manor's Heaven Monarch has set up an arena in the Blood Battle Arena. If you think you can do it, then go. If you can't, then it means you're trash." After delivering the message, the messenger from Sky Sun Manor turned and left. He had delivered the message according to Yang Tianlia's instructions. However, he was also afraid. Knight Sorrow had even dared to kill their young mansion master, let alone a guard like him. "Trouble still came," Dachura said. "This is not much trouble. Let's go and take a look. I don't know much about the rules of the Blood Battle Arena." Knight Sorrow said to Dachura. Knight Sorrow was not afraid of a Heaven Monarch Realm Blood Battle Arena, but he had to understand it first. At this moment, in Songning Manor, a girl called Xiao Xing handed a few pieces of paper to Songning. After reading the information, Songning blinked a few times. "Tell everyone who comes in contact with this information not to leak it. Otherwise they will be killed." Some of the information in Songning's hands could not be spread. Chapter 1560. Songning Manor's investigation ability was much better than Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan's. He had done 2 divinations. Although the divinations were interrupted when they reached the God-Fiend Castle, the results were more detailed. After taking another look at Knight Sorrow's information, Songning Manor fell into deep thought. Then, he shook his arm and turned the pieces of paper into ashes. "Manor Lord, that guy's combat ability is strong." A few heavenly monarchs fell in his hands. In the last battle, he was even surrounded. Little Star bowed and said, "He is indeed very outstanding. His personality is also very good. Otherwise, Wu Feng wouldn't have valued him. Wu Feng is a troublesome person. If I accept him, it would be the same as not giving face to Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan. However, if I don't give him face, Then so be it. It doesn't matter. Song Ning Manor Lord said. Little Star didn't say anything. This wasn't the time for her to express her opinion. Send a scout over there. If there is any news, report back. I want to see what kind of person Gong Yufan can't rope in and was angered by, Song Ning Manor Lord said. At this moment, Night Sorrow and Datura arrived at the blood battle arena. Night Sorrow found the staff of the blood battle arena to understand the situation there. The blood battle arena was set up by the ethereal battle emperor. It was a place to settle grudges and train cultivators. It was filled with blood and killing. To settle grudges, both parties would fight in the arena. They would fight to the death. However, if the challenged party didn't want to accept the challenge, there would be restrictions. If they didn't accept the challenge 3 times, it meant that they didn't have the courage and ability to cause trouble. Such people were considered trash. If the ethereal empire didn't keep them, they would be expelled. However, there was a time limit between the 3 challenges. The gap between the first and the third challenge was 30 years. These 30 years were the time and opportunity to fight back. However, there was an exception. If a person with a higher cultivation challenged a person with a lower cultivation and the person with a lower cultivation rejected the challenge, it wasn't within the rules. As for training, it was a bloody battle without grudges. The winner of such a battle would be the arena lord. The 10 arena lords would have a certain reward. In other words, after becoming the arena lord and not losing 10 battles, the blood battle arena would give out rewards. The rewards for Champion 100 were even more generous. The blood battle platform would give out a lot of rewards, and the city lord mansion would also give some special treatment. No one had obtained the arena lord of 1,000 rings reward, but it still existed. The rules of the blood battle arena were very simple. It was a special arena, which could be said to be a beast cage. Once the 2 sides entered, they would fight inside, and no one could interfere. In the grudge mode, one would fight to the death, but in the training mode, one could surrender and admit defeat. After knowing the rules, Night Sorrow nodded. The rules were reasonable. Although a little cruel, it was also the best place to train one's strength and stimulate one's potential. It's like this. My name is Night Sorrow. I heard that someone set up a grudge ring to look for me, so I came to take a look, Night Sorrow said to the staff. The staff member glanced at Night Sorrow, then took out a booklet and flipped through it. It's about your grudge battle, but we haven't notified you yet. If you agree to this battle, then the battle will be held in 3 days. Didn't you explain in detail? Night Sorrow asked. N-Head v. Harem. Normally, when someone sends a grudge battle challenge, our blood battle platform will be responsible for notifying you and then checking your cultivation level. Since no one has informed you, then no one will tell you the situation. Now, let me tell you the details. The opponent is a heaven monarch, which is the same cultivation level as you. You can accept or reject, but if you reject, you can only reject twice in the next 30 years. If you reject 3 times, you will be expelled from the ethereal imperial city, the staff said. We are both heaven monarchs. I have no reason to reject. When will it be held in 3 days? Night Sorrow asked. If someone challenged him, he wouldn't back out. 3 days in the evening, but you have to come 2 hours in advance, the staff said. After understanding the situation, Night Sorrow and Datura left the blood battle platform and walked around the city. Then, Datura wanted to go to the Divine Devil Castle to take a look. She wanted to join because it was an opportunity. After all, the Divine Devil Castle had supreme-grade resources. Once she entered the Divine Devil Castle, she would have the opportunity to obtain these resources. Night Sorrow didn't object. After arriving, Night Sorrow waited in a tea house not far from the Divine Devil Castle. He didn't tell Datura about joining the Divine Devil Castle. After all, this was a secret, and it wasn't good to casually leak it. As for whether Datura could pass the test or not, Night Sorrow wasn't worried. He knew how strong Datura was. 4 hours later, Datura came out with a face full of excitement. She had passed the test. Congratulations. But there is a mission. You have to see how confident you are first. If you are confident, then accept it, Night Sorrow said. How did you know? Could it be? Datura looked at Night Sorrow with eyes full of doubt. Then she understood. Through Night Sorrow's words, she naturally analyzed the result. Night Sorrow didn't say anything, and she also understood why. It was because of the rules. Night Sorrow and Datura returned to the courtyard. Night Sorrow. Husband and wife are one. We are both from there, so it's not considered leaking the secret, Datura said. You are right, but it's better not to mention these things. Night Sorrow said. He felt that Datura's words were reasonable, but he still felt that it was better to avoid it. I understand. Husband is the best, Datura said with a smile. Aren't you the same? Night Sorrow said as he hugged Datura. Night Sorrow's life wasn't affected by the matter of the blood battle platform. His stall was receiving business every day. One day before the battle on the blood battle platform, Jiangyu came. Night Sorrow, I've heard about the matter. I really can't help you now. If you are not confident, then refuse. There are many members of the Heavenly Sun Prefecture's subordinate forces in the blood battle platform. Their actual combat strength is not proportional to their actual cultivation. Why don't you refuse first? Jiangyu said to Night Sorrow. Thank you, Miss Jiang. I understand the matter, but since they have declared war, there is no reason for me not to fight. If they want to kill, then I will accompany them. I will fight until they don't dare to challenge me, Night Sorrow said. Since you have already decided, I will go and cheer for you when the time comes. If they dare to play a grudge battle with you, then they must be prepared. You have to be careful, Jiangyu reminded Night Sorrow. After sending Jiangyu away, Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea. He knew what he would face next. It was either kill or be killed, but he was confident in himself. Chapter 1561. City Master Cong Ning had received the news from his subordinate and came to take a look. She and Wu Feng were good friends, and she understood Wu Feng's personality. He wouldn't easily come in contact with anyone, let alone value someone. Therefore, she was curious and not here to observe. Even if Night Sorrow couldn't win, she would arrange a suitable place for him. There was no need for her to observe. Yang Tianlai came. He glanced at the highest pavilion before going to another place to watch. Today, one of his subordinates, a heavenly monarch, was going to fight. He was a heavenly monarch who used to be an assassin and was good at combat and killing. He felt that his combat experience was enough to deal with Night Sorrow. Many cultivators who entered the cage would have their aura suppressed. It would be good if they could exert 70% of their strength. Afterward, others came one after another. One could bet on the blood battle stage. It was also a casino that brought a lot of income to the Misty City Lord's mansion every day. It wasn't taxes because the blood battle stage belonged to the City Lord's mansion. First, someone stood in front of the cage and introduced this was a grudge match. He didn't say anything about the cause as there was no need to. He just gave a simple introduction of both sides. During the introduction, he said that Slaughter Sword Li Yuan had a 10-match winning streak in the blood battle stage. When he introduced Night Sorrow, he only said 5 words. Blood battle stage beggar. Night Sorrow smiled. This was too direct and didn't give him any face. It was fine if he bragged a little. No one would bet on him, so he just wanted to make a profit. Then, it was time to place bets. Many people placed their bets. Night Sorrow realized that this was a place for the rich. They were rich and capricious. They casually placed bets of 100,000 or 200,000 Saint crystals. However, they were all betting on Li Yuan's victory. Even if the odds were 3-1, no one would bet on Night Sorrow. In just a moment, Li Yuan's Saint Spirit Stones had reached 1.5 million. Can I bet on myself? Night Sorrow asked the staff member. Don't bet on yourself. That would be considered cheating, the staff member said. This was because many cultivators had cultivated clones. If they were to place a huge bet, they would be able to earn a huge sum of money. Night Sorrow took out a storage ring and handed it to the staff member. Of course, I'll bet a total of 1.5 million Saint Spirit Stones. If I want it, I'll bet 400,000 Saint Spirit Stones. That way, everyone will have something to eat. Night Sorrow put down 400,000 Saint Spirit Stones, the staff member said after checking Night Sorrow's storage ring. You have the life to lay down, but you don't have the life to spend it, said Li Yuan, who was exuding a murderous aura. Is that so? If that's the case, then none of us need to cultivate. Night Sorrow chuckled and ignored Li Yuan's words. Then I'll also bet 100,000. I admire confident people. Jiang Yu, who came with Jiang Tianheng, shouted. Jiang Tianheng still had a smile on his face. Although his daughter had offended someone, he still had to put on a smile. There were still people placing bets, but most of them favored Li Yuan. There were only a few who placed their bets on Night Sorrow. In the blood battle arena, one's achievements outside were not very convincing. In the blood battle arena, one had to fight for one's achievements. There were no rookies here. Li Yuan was able to achieve 10 consecutive victories, which spoke volumes. Night Sorrow killing Yang Yu's clone was nothing. Then I'll bet 200,000 on Night Sorrow winning. Wu Feng came. He was dressed in a green robe. Although he coughed from time to time with his left hand in front of his mouth, no one could ignore him. Then I'll also bet 200,000. A storage ring flew out from the highest pavilion. Everyone looked up, but they couldn't see anything. Bai Ding is a newcomer. Newcomers have to set sail. The voice came out from the pavilion again. After the people in the highest pavilion placed their bets, no one else placed their bets. They thought that they had no confidence. Although not many people placed their bets on Night Sorrow, they were all big bets. No one would go against a Saint Spirit Stone. A gong sounded, and the cage opened. After entering, we'll decide who's better and who'll die. There are no other rules. The old man in charge of the blood battle arena walked out and said, Li Yuan, the energy in this guy's body is not bad. If you win, I'll bet 100,000 Saint Spirit Stones on his corpse. Gong Yufan, who hadn't placed his bets, said, I'm an outsider, but I'm not afraid of trouble. Old man, are you trying to be ruthless and shameless with me? Night Sorrow looked at Gong Yufan. Haha. Young man, the waters in this world are very deep. You'll drown once you enter. Gong Yufan laughed. You're not qualified to mess with my heart. Today, I'll be ruthless with you. 30,000 Saint Spirit Stones to buy the list of all the heavenly monarchs in the Guanyue Prefecture. I'll only take 2 copies. Whoever has them can send them to the blood battle arena. I'll leave 60,000 Saint Spirit Stones. From today onwards, as long as I'm alive, I'll take care of 1 heavenly monarch in the Guanyue Prefecture every day. After 30 years, all the heavenly monarchs in the Guanyue Prefecture will either be killed or expelled, Night Sorrow said coldly. If Night Sorrow accidentally enters the Arch Realm, I'll take over this job. Datura, who was standing beside Night Sorrow, said. Face slapping. This was a slap in the face. Gong Yufan was giving Night Sorrow a slap in the face. In addition, Night Sorrow's words and decision were very sharp. Why? If Night Sorrow could really do it, Gong Yufan would be the only prefecture lord left in the Guanyue Prefecture after 30 years. There wouldn't be any heavenly monarchs under his command. They would either be killed or expelled. The limit of 3 rejections was 30 years. If he was strong enough, he could definitely kill all the heavenly monarchs in the Guanyue Prefecture within a year. He would either be killed or rejected once. After 30 years, everything would be settled. Haha! How bold! Wu Feng clapped his hands. Someone whistled. No matter how strong Night Sorrow was, it was bold to say such words. All right, both parties enter. When the gong sounds, the battle will begin. The elder in charge of the blood battle stage waved his arm and allowed Li Yuan and Night Sorrow to enter. Li Yuan's body flashed and jumped into the battle cage. Night Sorrow turned around and looked at Datura. Then, his body flashed and entered the battle cage as well. At this moment, the elder in charge of the blood battle stage waved his arm. The battle cage's door was closed and locked with a black lock. The battle cage and the lock were made of special materials. They couldn't be opened from the inside. There was no escape. Night Sorrow waved his right hand, and the space-splitting spear appeared in his hand. He then waited for the gong to sound. At the same time, he sized up the battle cage. The interior of the battle cage wasn't small. It had a radius of 300 meters. Looking from the outside and inside gave off a completely different feeling. From the outside, it looked like a cage that was filled with a special aura. However, from the inside, one could feel the intense blood stench and aura suppression. This was the negative effect of the long years of bloody battles. Night Sorrow brandished the space-splitting spear. His body was bursting with battle intent. It was as though the battle intent was surging in all directions. The blood and black fog that was visible to the naked eye were all washed away. Chapter 1562. Those who were knowledgeable naturally knew what fighting intent represented. It was a key factor in entering the Emperor realm. Furthermore, it was rare to see someone like Knight Sorrow who only had fighting intent and no killing intent. Many people couldn't understand how he had managed to cultivate it. On the other hand, Li Yuan was different. He also had a special intent realm, which was the most common killing intent in the blood battle arena. When the two of them looked at each other, a gong sounded. The battle had begun. The sound of this gong had a name in the blood battle platform. It was called the soul-seeking gong because it represented the fall of a person. As the gong sounded, Li Yuan's body soared into the air. The saber in his hand slashed towards Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow took a few steps back, distancing himself from the back of the cage. The space splitter spear pierced towards Li Yuan's saber. One couldn't get close to the edge of the cage because there were all kinds of barbs and sharp blades. The barbs and sharp blades were black-red in color. That was the color of dried blood. There were also black objects in some places. Those were the flesh and blood that had been pulled off by the sharp blades and barbs. If one's body was hit by the barbs, he would definitely be severely injured. The two weapons clashed. Knight Sorrow took 2 steps back. Li Yuan was also repelled. After being repelled, he flipped his body and once again slashed towards Knight Sorrow. After accumulating 10 undefeated battles in the blood battle arena, Li Yuan had already adapted to the aura inside the cage. This place had become his home ground. Li Yuan's saber skills were very violent. One slash after another slashed towards Knight Sorrow. This was his ultimate move. The more he slashed, the stronger his aura would become until the opponent was defeated and killed. Li Yuan's consecutive slashes were released. However, his aura didn't accumulate because Knight Sorrow hadn't been defeated. He blocked each slash without retreating a single step. Li Yuan would be pushed back a little after each slash. Then he would attack again. This way, he wouldn't be able to accumulate his aura. In the blink of an eye, Li Yuan slashed out 100 times, but the result was still the same. Knight Sorrow waved his spear to block. He was enjoying the feeling of being in the cage, because as the battle continued, the oppressive aura within the cage became more and more intense. It constantly attacked Knight Sorrow and Li Yuan, and it was like a real killing intent. Knight Sorrow didn't want to show off too much because he still had the mixed blood arena. If he directly killed his opponent, he wouldn't be able to play in the future. He didn't think much of Li Yuan. Li Yuan's advantage was that his body was stronger and his attacks were more powerful. If they were repelled by him, then they would have to be suppressed by his bloody battle 100 consecutive strikes. The more suppressed they were, the harder it would be for them to display their strength, and the result would be that they would be killed. After fighting for a while, Knight Sorrow attacked. When Li Yuan slashed at him, he took 2 steps forward. His left hand turned into a claw and grabbed at Li Yuan's battle blade. Then, the space splitter spear was supported by the will of time and space to avoid Li Yuan's battle blade. He used the space rotating dragon kill and stabbed at Li Yuan's dantian. Li Yuan thought that Knight Sorrow would block his attack because if he didn't, he would accumulate his aura. He didn't think that Knight Sorrow would change his move, and no one thought that Knight Sorrow would use his left hand to block his battle blade. Knight Sorrow's left hand grabbed Li Yuan's battle blade. Although it was shaken and bleeding, the space splitter spear in his right hand directly poured into Li Yuan's dantian. Then, it exploded and pierced Li Yuan's dantian. The scene froze. Knight Sorrow was still standing there. His left hand that was holding Li Yuan's battle blade was dripping blood, but the space splitter spear in his right hand was nailed into Li Yuan's dantian. At this moment, Li Yuan, whose dantian had been pierced, was flailing his legs. However, he didn't have the energy to fight back, so he could only struggle. "Spare me. I won't do it again. I won't do it again." Li Yuan's eyes, which were originally filled with killing intent and ruthlessness, were now filled with fear and begging for mercy. You entered the blood battle arena and issued a challenge. Are you not prepared to die? You can die in battle, but you can't live in humiliation. Knight Sorrow's right hand shook and pulled out the space splitter spear. Then, he pierced Li Yuan's head and pierced his dantian. From beginning to end, Knight Sorrow had only used one move to attack. He took the initiative to kill his opponent. With one side dead, the blood battle arena was over. The door to the cage opened, and Knight Sorrow walked out after collecting his spoils. Palace Lord Gong is interested in the corpse. I'll give it to you, Knight Sorrow called out to Gong Yufan. Gong Yufan stood up and pointed at Knight Sorrow. Then, his angry face was replaced by a smile. Those who knew him well knew that he was really angry. Sir, if it's convenient, please settle the Saint Spirit Stones. If anyone continues to issue me a challenge, I'll accept it. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands at the old man who was in charge of the blood battle arena. All right. Men, bring out the winnings from the bets and send them to the distinguished guests. The old man in charge of the blood battle platform nodded at Yi Shang before instructing the staff of the blood battle platform. It was very efficient. In just a few moments, all the winners had received their winnings. Knight Sorrow received 1.2 million Saint Spirit Stones at most. Sir, here are 60,000 Saint Spirit Stones. Someone sent the name list of the heavenly monarchs of the moon-gazing mansion. Please accept it for me. Knight Sorrow took out a storage ring and handed it to the old man in charge of the blood battle arena. It's not a big deal. No problem. The old man in charge of the blood battle arena was surprised and then nodded. It wasn't a big deal, but he didn't expect Knight Sorrow to be serious. It was a big deal. Not only was the old man in charge of the blood battle arena surprised, but the spectators were also shocked. Everyone thought that Knight Sorrow was just trying to slap Gong Yufan in the face. Who would have thought that Knight Sorrow was serious? Aluo, let's go. Let's find a restaurant and have a feast worth tens of thousands of Saint Spirit Stones. It's not hard to earn Saint Spirit Stones. Knight Sorrow nodded at Datura. You have to call me brother for a feast worth tens of thousands of Saint Spirit Stones. Wu Fing stood up and shouted. Then, he followed Knight Sorrow out of the blood battle arena. Jiang Yu wanted to say something, but Jiang Tianheng pressed down on his shoulder. He didn't like Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan, but they were both prefecture lords. If they openly walked together with Yi Shang, it would be inappropriate, and it would be difficult to explain to the city lord's mansion. The blood battle arena was still going on, but the number of spectators had decreased. Knight Sorrow and Li Yuan's battle was related to the reputation of the Heavenly Sun Prefecture, so more people came to watch. At this moment, in the highest pavilion, an old man handed over a storage ring and left. Prefecture Lord, that guy is really strong. He's ruthless to himself, said Xiao Xing, who was standing beside Song Ning. He's good at hiding his strength. The blood battle arena will be filled with bloodshed for a period of time. With Wu Fing protecting them and Wu Fing dragging me along, Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan won't be able to do anything. They'll have to face the next challenge. This is interesting. Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan can't blame anyone for being blind. There's a saying that one shouldn't bully a poor youth, Song Ning said as he watched Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan leave. Chapter 1563. Definitely because he has the strength. He hid his true strength. Those who don't know him might not understand, but we have seen his information. His spear art is deep, his defense is strong, his soul spirit attack is sharp, and he has absolute arts. Today, he only showed a little of it. Very good. Our Song Ning Legion needs people like him. Let him play first. Song Ning Legion Lord stood up and left the pavilion. Knight Sorrow, Datura, and Wu Fing found a high-class restaurant and ordered a feast. Haha. Brother, you are so domineering. Today was a great day for me, Wu Fing said with a smile. QL starter, if we follow the rules, I'm not afraid of them. The rules of the blood battle are good. The blood battle arena is also a good place. I like it there. Knight Sorrow spoke his mind. He didn't hide anything from Wu Fing. Back then, I liked it too, but I haven't been there for many years. Wu Fing nodded. He felt that Knight Sorrow was the same type of person as him. Although he didn't want to cause trouble and didn't want to get involved, he didn't want to fight and had a yearning. Brother Wu Fing, have you been to the blood battle arena before? Knight Sorrow asked with surprise. Of course, I am one of the few arena champions. My mansion is the reward from the Ethereal City's City Lord residence for the arena champions. Wu Fing nodded. Arena champions? It's not easy. If your performance is too dazzling, no one will want to play with you. It will be difficult to achieve 100 victories, Knight Sorrow said. Actually, the arena champions all came from your decision today. It is a personal declaration of war against a certain clan or faction. Only then can you achieve 100 victories easily. Normally, such a situation wouldn't happen. If you are strong, many people won't want to play with you. Besides, the grudge battle isn't something you can casually accept. You can't just point at someone and say you have a grudge against them. No one can cheat in the blood battle arena, Wufing said. Then my actions today should be a sufficient reason, right? Knight Sorrow didn't expect there to be so many details. Of course. However, if the Heaven Monarch you challenge withdraws from the Guanyue Prefecture, then the grudge will not be established. However, no one will withdraw so easily. Wufing nodded. That's good. Gong Yufan showed up in front of so many people today to mess with my mental state. It's not unreasonable for me to declare war on him. What his daughter did is shameful, Knight Sorrow said. The blood battle arena is a place to accumulate combat power, as well as experience. For example, if you're one of the 10 arena lords, you'll be valued by any power, even the city lord's mansion. If they were arena champions, they would all hold high positions in the city lord manor. Do you know why no one is willing to go against me? No one is willing to incur my wrath. That's because I can join the city lord's mansion at any time. It's not worth it to offend me, Wufing patiently explained to Knight Sorrow. After listening to Edgeless' explanation, Knight Sorrow understood that the blood battle arena wasn't just a place to accumulate combat strength. It was also a place for newcomers to rise. In addition, Wufing told Knight Sorrow that the blood battle arena's rewards were very generous. It wasn't a scam, and everything was given to the person involved. Aside from the God-Fiend Castle, the blood battle arena was the best place to accumulate resources. However, it was accompanied by risks. In this world, even sleeping at home can lead to disaster. There's no place that's absolutely safe, Knight Sorrow said. Wufing nodded. He admired Knight Sorrow's attitude. In addition, he guessed that Knight Sorrow might have joined the God-Fiend Castle. This was because when he mentioned the God-Fiend Castle, Knight Sorrow didn't show any interest. According to Knight Sorrow's personality, this shouldn't be the case. Thus, there was only one possibility. However, no one took the initiative to mention this topic. While drinking, Wufing looked at Knight Sorrow. Brother, do you have any more of this wine? Knight Sorrow looked at the wine jar in Wufing's hand. It was the wine jar that contained the dragon root wine. You know that your brother's body has cold Yin energy. Although this wine isn't very effective, it's very comfortable. This wine really doesn't exist in the celestial realm, Wufing said. I still have a few jars here. Brother Wufing, take them all. Also, if you have the materials, my wife can brew more, Knight Sorrow said. Haha, I'll get whatever materials you need. I'll have to trouble my sister-in-law when I get them. Wufing cupped his hands towards Datura. Brother Wufing, you misunderstand. Knight Sorrow's wife can brew wine, not me, Datura said with a smile. Brother, you're awesome, Wufing said with a smile after being stunned for a moment. The materials used to brew this wine are special parts of special beasts. I reckon that dragon tiger type beasts, even if they're a side branch, will have a very strong effect, Knight Sorrow said. Alright, that won't be difficult. I'll send it to you when it's done. Wufing nodded. After eating a table full of 20,000 Saint Spirit stones, Knight Sorrow and Datura parted ways with Wufing. The two returned to their residence. Wufing told them that their residence should be fine. Haha. Yishang, why do I feel like my heart is very clear? This blood battle arena is so interesting. It's practically tailor-made for us. Datura was very excited. Knight Sorrow nodded. He also liked the blood battle arena and its format. When Wufing returned to his residence, Duanyu reported the situation at Treasure Seeking Street to him. The people from Sky Sun Prefecture and Guanyue Prefecture were no longer there. He also mentioned the words he heard from Knight Sorrow. It was about how Knight Sorrow didn't owe Wufing any favors. Good. Wufing, this should be exactly what you want. Blue Moon Prefecture Lord arrived at Wufing's residence. Haha, Songyu, you're right. I like your temperament. Wufing stood up and invited Songyu to take a seat. Such a person, other than those with grudges, would be appreciated by others. Song Yu poured herself a cup of tea from the teapot. Does that include you, Song Yu? Wu Feng asked Song Yu. Of course. Even if you didn't recommend him, I would still want him. The Zhongning army needs people like him. Song Ning nodded. Wu Feng smiled. Edgeless smiled. This was the effect he wanted. He's so similar to you back then. I'm just worried that he'll end up like you and refuse to join the Zhongning army, Song Ning said. Here we go again. Didn't I say that we're friends? As long as you and the Zhongning army need to fight, I, Wu Feng, will help? Wu Feng said helplessly. I'm just worried. If there's a first, there'll be a second. It's both delightful and frustrating. I've decided that I won't repeat the same mistake. The aura in Song Ning's eyes became much sharper. I don't know if I was right to recommend him to you. Wu Feng sighed. He knew Song Ning very well. If she wanted to do something, she would definitely do it. Chapter 1564. Song Ning, I'd like to say a few words. There's nothing wrong with wanting him under your wing. You can do whatever you want, but don't force him. It won't do you any good, said Wu Feng. Not beneficial to me? That can't be. It seems there aren't many people who can tell me not to do anything. It won't do me any good. Song Ning frowned. She didn't like such words. Why are you frowning? I'm not threatening you. I'm just telling you the truth. Do you know the virtuous merit saint and the virtuous merit supreme sage? Edgeless asked. If you know what you're asking, how can I not know? Why are you saying all this? Don't tell me. He's a merit saint? Which realm is he from? Song Ning asked. Song Ning could not be blamed for being in a daze. Saints of merit and virtue were too rare. 1 in a billion would be hard to find. It's not the deluxe merit saint, it's the deluxe merit grand sage. You should know that you can't use force on people like this. They won't change their beliefs because of power. Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan are both giants in front of him, but is he afraid? Song Ning, you can't walk the same path as them, said Edgeless. Thank you for your reminder. Actually, you really don't have to worry. You know what kind of person I am. I have my own principles. Wu Feng, are you really not going to consider joining the City Lord's mansion? I can recommend you to the War Emperor. You can even become the Lord of a prefecture, Song Ning said. You're here again. Have some tea. Wu Feng changed the topic because he didn't want to be restricted. He could help Song Ning, but he didn't want to join the City Lord's office. You're such a pain in the ass. Song Ning shook his head helplessly. Wu Feng smiled. He knew that Gong Yufan was the one with the biggest headache right now. Knight Sorrow wanted to challenge the Heaven Monarch of the Guanyue Prefecture. This was a ruthless move. If Knight Sorrow was an invincible Heaven Monarch, then the Guanyue Prefecture would be in trouble. They would either have to ask for external help or admit defeat and look for Knight Sorrow to compromise. No matter what, it would be extremely humiliating. After resting for a night, Knight Sorrow and Dachura went to Treasure-Seeking Street to continue accepting alchemy business. Treasure-Seeking Street was extremely lively because someone had appeared out of nowhere from the crowd that represented the disadvantaged group and stood up for them. Knight Sorrow appeared with Dachura and Lu Yun. They were greeted with applause. You've become everyone's idol. Jiang Yu appeared with a smile on her face. She was extremely happy that Knight Sorrow had killed Li Yuan. Do what you need to do. Nothing else matters. Knight Sorrow shook his head. After entering the store, Jiang Yu felt that it was a pity that he didn't get to eat a feast worth tens of thousands of Saint Spirit stones. Who told you not to go? What's the use of regretting now? Dachura said. You think I don't want to go? My father didn't allow it. The House of Azure Water supports you, but we can't go against the Heavenly Sun Mansion and Guanyue Mansion. That would put my father in a difficult position, and he wouldn't be able to explain himself to the City Lord Mansion, Jiang Yu said. I can understand. You really need to think about Mansion Lord Jiang. After all, the 7 Mansion Lords are colleagues, Knight Sorrow said. After a peaceful day, the staff of the Blood Battle platform came to Treasure-Seeking Street to look for Knight Sorrow and gave him 2 sets of information. It was the name list of the Heavenly Monarchs of the Guanyue Mansion. The name list was very detailed. After all, the Blood Battle platform wouldn't fool people. They would only take out the Saint Spirit stones that Night Sorrow left behind if they thought the name list was suitable and accurate. The staff who sent the information also told Night Sorrow that he had a battle tomorrow. It was a grudge battle. The Heavenly Sun Mansion's Heavenly Monarch Vulture wanted to challenge him. The Heavenly Monarch Vulture was a mutated demonic beast that had transformed into a human form. However, he didn't fight many times in the blood battle platform. Except, there was no reason not to accept. Night Sorrow told the staff of the blood battle platform that he accepted the challenge. In addition, Night Sorrow chose the person who was closest to the top of the two lists. Help me arrange a battle with this person. After this grudge battle I will challenge him. Okay, we will arrange the battle and inform him. We will also inform Lord if he accepts the challenge or not. The staff of the blood battle platform bowed to Night Sorrow and left. After receiving the staff of the blood battle platform, Night Sorrow continued to refine elixirs. Night Sorrow didn't need to prepare anything for such a battle. He had already defeated the Arch-Realm cultivators. Why would he be worried about the battle with heavenly monarchs? Datura wasn't worried either. She knew her husband's strength. Heavenly monarchs and heavenly monarchs were nothing in front of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow might be young, but he had killed his way out. He wasn't a flower in a greenhouse. A lot of forces were paying attention to Night Sorrow's battle on the blood battle platform. When the announcement came out, many people knew about it. They didn't know Night Sorrow and didn't know how strong Night Sorrow was. They just wanted to see how far Night Sorrow could go in the battle with Sky Sun Prefecture and Discerning Moon Prefecture. After all, Night Sorrow had only displayed tyrannical strength in the previous battle. There were too many cultivators with strong strength. It didn't necessarily represent combat strength. Jiang Yu came to Night Sorrow's place. She was more concerned about Night Sorrow. As soon as there was news of Night Sorrow's battle, she came over. Night Sorrow, you don't have to accept it. There's no need to be angry. It's okay to reject a battle. Jiang Yu was afraid that Night Sorrow would do anything in a fit of anger. Do you trust me? If you do, then continue to bet on me. There's no need to consider anything else, Night Sorrow said. Okay, then I'll place my bet. Jiang Yu nodded. Ah Luo, here's 1,000,000 Saint Spirit Stones. Place your bet before the end of the bet. Night Sorrow took out a storage ring and handed it to Datura. I have 1,000,000. I'll place my bet when the time comes. Datura smiled. Okay, we'll each place 1,000,000. If we win a few rounds, we'll get a luxurious mansion in Ethereal Imperial City. I like to breathe in fresh air, Night Sorrow said. I just realized that you two are robbers. Ethereal Imperial City is a graveyard for newbies. But from what I see, it's clearly your heaven, Jiang Yu said. Night Sorrow and Datura smiled. In fact, Night Sorrow's biggest weakness was that he didn't have a backer. He was afraid that others would bully him, just like how Yang Tianlai wanted to kill him. This was something he couldn't resist. He wasn't afraid of anything as long as cultivators stronger than him didn't make a move. After resting quietly for a night, just as Night Sorrow was about to go to the blood battle arena, Ji Dao appeared. Ji Dao greets Milord. Ji Dao is back. Seeing Night Sorrow, Ji Dao bowed. How's your sister? Night Sorrow asked. Milord's elixir is very effective. The poison has been removed. All that's left is to slowly nurse her body. There's no problem now, Ji Dao said. That's good. Let's go. Let's go watch me kill people today. Lu Yun, are you coming? Night Sorrow looked at Lu Yun. Yes, Lu Yun will cheer for young master. Lu Yun nodded. His eyes were full of vigor. Normally, a slave wasn't qualified to enter such a place. Let's go. Night Sorrow called for a beast carriage with a few people and went to the blood battle arena. Chapter 1565. There were seats for the contestants. Night Sorrow was led to a seat near the front row by the staff. I might be a regular here in the future. Can I trouble you to arrange a private room for the people I brought? We will pay for it ourselves. Night Sorrow said to the staff. Okay, we will reserve a room for you next time. The staff nodded. There were very few Emperor Realm cultivators at the blood battle stage. Usually, it was King and Heavenly Monarchs. Heavenly Monarchs were the peak, So there were instructions from the higher-ups that the heavenly monarchs had to be humble. Of course, the staff of the blood battle stage were humble, but no one dared to bully or humiliate them. The consequences would be severe. At this time, the old man in charge of the blood battle stage began to introduce the contestants. Heavenly Monarch Vulture had fought 4 battles in the blood battle stage and won all 4 battles. He defeated his opponent in 15 minutes, which showed his strength. This time, there were more introductions for Knight Sorrow. Not to mention that he was a newcomer, but because of his victory. After the introductions, it was time to place the bets. The odds were still 1-3 because Knight Sorrow's victory didn't mean anything. In addition, Knight Sorrow's performance in the previous battle wasn't dazzling. It was just that his last move was more ruthless. When the staff reminded that the betting time was about to end, Knight Sorrow stood up. If I don't believe in myself, who else can I believe in? I will bet 1 million Saint Spirit Stones on myself to win. That's right. If I don't believe in my husband, who else can I believe in? I also have 1 million on Knight Sorrow. Datura also stood up. There was nothing the blood battle stage didn't dare to accept because many people had bet on Heavenly Monarch Vulture. There were 2 to 3 million scattered customers. Even if they lost, the blood battle stage could afford it. A few million Saint Spirit Stones weren't much in the Misty Dynasty's City Lord Mansion, but here, 1 million was the limit. Wufeng and Song Ning placed 200,000 Saint Spirit Stones. They were just casually placing a bet. After placing the bets, Knight Sorrow stood up and walked to the front of the cage. He didn't even pay attention to Heaven Lord Vulture. Knowing that Heavenly Lord Vulture was a member of Heavenly Sun Prefecture was enough. Whoever challenged him or wanted to kill him, he would kill them. It was that simple. This time, Gong Yufan didn't say anything. He knew Yi Shang's temper. If he stood up and spoke, Yi Shang wouldn't hesitate to slap him in the face. Therefore, there was no need to attack him verbally. He wouldn't be able to gain any advantage. Using actions was the best choice. Today, he had brought his sons and daughters to watch the bloody battle. Big sister, this is the person who hit me. Gong Xianyu looked at a woman sitting on the other side of Gong Yufan and said. The veiled woman turned her head and glanced at Gong Xianyu. You can tell father about this. He will support you. Xianing, what are you saying? Gong Yufan frowned. Did I say anything wrong? Father, take a look at what she's doing now. The veiled woman, who was Gong Xianying, said. That's enough. Gong Yufan interrupted his daughter. If she continued, he would be in the wrong. The cage opened and Heavenly Lord Vulture entered first. Then, Knight Sorrow entered. Knight Sorrow didn't fly in like Heavenly Lord Vulture. Instead, he walked in step by step. When he reached his position, he pulled out the Space Splitter Spear with his right hand. As the Spirit Seeker bell rang, Heavenly Lord Vulture moved. His body flickered as he pounced towards Knight Sorrow. Why did Yang Tianlai choose Heavenly Lord Vulture? It was because he noticed that Knight Sorrow's body was tyrannical, so he chose a speed type. As soon as Sky Lord Vulture attacked, Knight Sorrow knew Sky Lord Vulture's type. His speed was strong, but speed was not his weakness. However, in order to make the battle go smoothly, Knight Sorrow felt that it was more appropriate to use strength to fight. Knight Sorrow used the Space Splitter Spear to block the opponent's attacks. He blocked Heavenly Lord Vulture outside and didn't give him a chance to attack. The sound of weapons clashing constantly rang out. Heavenly Lord Vulture's speed was fast, but he couldn't break through Knight Sorrow's spear technique. The main reason was that Heavenly Lord Vulture was forced back. Actually, this wasn't just a difference in strength. Knight Sorrow also had speed, but he used strength to cover it up. No matter how much Heavenly Lord Vulture's speed increased, it was useless. Datura smiled. She understood what Knight Sorrow meant. She knew that Knight Sorrow had the will of time and space and was extremely proficient in speed. Heavenly Lord Vulture's speed wasn't enough. Knight Sorrow did this to build a foundation for the battle to come. Everyone was thinking about whether speed would defeat strength. Was speed the only thing that couldn't be broken, or was strength the advantage? Most people couldn't think of a certainty. The battle was very intense. Knight Sorrow had been on the defense and didn't take the initiative to attack. The battle had been going on for close to 15 minutes. Knight Sorrow felt that it was about time to end it. After fighting for 15 minutes, It was enough to give people a subjective impression. Since he decided to end the battle, Knight Sorrow's fighting style changed. C_X when Heavenly Lord Vulture attacked Knight Sorrow again, Knight Sorrow's Space Splitter Spear didn't block. Instead, he dodged Heavenly Lord Vulture's sword and continued to stab towards Heavenly Lord Vulture's Dantian. Go die! Heavenly Lord Vulture thought that Knight Sorrow's speed couldn't keep up. He moved to the side and dodged the Space Splitter Spear's attack path. His sword continued to stab downwards at Knight Sorrow's chest. But at this time, Knight Sorrow raised his left hand. His left hand was filled with thick energy as he grabbed Heavenly Lord Vulture's sword. Following that, his right leg kicked towards Heavenly Lord Vulture's Dantian. Heavenly Lord Vulture was in a dilemma. If he retreated, he would have to abandon his sword. If he didn't retreat, he wouldn't be able to dodge Knight Sorrow's kick. He couldn't retreat. Without a weapon, he was like a beggar without a stick. A short knife appeared in Heavenly Lord Vulture's left hand and stabbed towards Knight Sorrow's head. He wanted to use the method of exchanging injury for life to force Knight Sorrow to retreat. At this time, Knight Sorrow's strength advantage was revealed. He raised his left hand that was holding Heavenly Lord Vulture's sword and smashed his elbow onto Heavenly Lord Vulture's left wrist that was holding the short knife. This caused Heavenly Lord Vulture's left hand to be lifted up, causing him to lose the direction of his attack. At the same time, his right leg smashed into Heavenly Lord Vulture's Dantian, directly shattering Heavenly Lord Vulture's Dantian and sending him flying. Heavenly Lord Vulture's right hand that was holding the sword didn't have the support of chi, so he couldn't hold the weapon. After sending Heavenly Lord Vulture flying, Knight Sorrow's feet shook. The ground that was made of special materials let out a violent rumble. Knight Sorrow's body used the rebound force to chase after Heavenly Lord Vulture. He directly pierced through his head and landed on the ground. Yang Tianlai, the person you chose is still not good enough. Are you trying to make me earn Saint Spirit Stones? Then I will thank you here. I have a venue tomorrow. Remember to hurry up and arrange people. Knight Sorrow looked at Yang Tianlai and said. Yang Tianlai's fists were clenched so tightly that they made cracking sounds. He was one of the 7 palace lords of the Misty Dynasty. How many years had it been since someone dared to go against him like this? Now that his son's avatar had been destroyed, he still had to suffer the impact of someone else's words. He had lost all his face. The host of the blood battle stage opened the cage. Knight Sorrow, who had come out of the cage, felt 2 cold lights looking at him. Chapter 1566. Knight Sorrow and Gong Yufan looked at each other. Then, Knight Sorrow smiled and returned to his seat. Then, it was time to calculate the profits. Knight Sorrow and Datura had made a lot of money, but Knight Sorrow knew that such opportunities were rare. The odds might change next time. After giving out the winner's profits, the host continued to talk about Knight Sorrow's battle tomorrow. Tomorrow, Knight Sorrow would fight against Guanyue Prefecture's Lord of Heaven Guanhao. It would be a grudge battle. The time was today. Evening was the prime time, so the intense battles were arranged at this time. The ethereal imperial city occupied a vast area. Countless cultivators gathered here. However, no matter how many cultivators there were, heaven monarchs were the best among them. Therefore, there were not many battles between heaven monarchs. There were many battles in the blood battle arena, but most of them were between king and the sovereigns. Therefore, the blood battle arena attached great importance to the battles between heaven monarchs. After hearing the announcement of the next battle, Knight Sorrow left the blood battle arena with Datura, Ji Dao, and Lu Yun. Young master, today's battle was very exciting. Ji Dao's eyes were full of yearning. Do you want to go too? However, the blood battle arena is a dangerous place. Therefore, think before you do anything. Be careful. Knight Sorrow looked at Ji Dao and said. Then Ji Dao, think about it. Ji Dao nodded. He naturally knew that Knight Sorrow was going to fight to the death today. Wu Feng took the hundreds of thousands of spirit stones and left. However, he did not go with Knight Sorrow today. Knight Sorrow did not call him either. He did not want to push Wu Feng to the front. Song Ning was still on the top floor of the blood battle arena's tallest pavilion. Her fingers were tapping on the armrest of the chair. The host of the blood battle arena entered the pavilion and placed a storage ring on the table behind Song Ning. How much did you lose? Song Ning asked. About 5 million. Knight Sorrow and his wife took 6 million, the host of the blood battle arena said. This is a loss because you didn't estimate the strength of the participants. Lower the payout for Knight Sorrow for the next battle, said Song Ning. She was the manager of the blood battle arena. Then change it to 1-1. The old man bowed and said, Your name is Fu Wu, right? I said lower the odds, not even. From now on, his odds will be changed to 2-1. Song Ning looked at Rune, the old man in charge of the blood battle arena. Sir, then his opponent's odds will be 1-2. I don't think anyone will bet on him winning. If he loses, our losses will be great. Fu Wu said in a low voice. That won't happen. All he will do is earn us Saint Crystals. Just follow this king's instructions. When you introduce him, focus on how amazing his strength is and don't mention anything else. Also, the 5 million limit for a single match will be temporarily lifted. Song Ning waved his hand and dismissed Fu Wu. Master, this guy earned 6 million today, Little Star said. The blood battle arena's loss of 5 million is nothing. We will double it tomorrow, Song Ning said. Yes, this guy is a fraud. He doesn't even have this kind of strength. In the few battles we know of, he has shown much more astonishing strength than this, Little Star said. Gong Yu Fan should be aware of this by now, but he can only accept it. Knight Sorrow will challenge whoever he wants. He may arrange for a powerhouse to deal with him. Yang Tianlai, on the other hand, is not aware of this. His son's clone was destroyed by Knight Sorrow and he is still angry. He will continue to fight blindly, Song Ning said. Little Star had been with her for a long time and was one of the few people who could communicate with her. Knight Sorrow and Dachura took Ji Dao and Lu Yun to a restaurant to celebrate before returning to Treasure-Seeking Street. When they returned, Wu Feng arrived. Did you go drinking again? Brother Wu Feng is here. We made a lot of money today, so we went to celebrate, Knight Sorrow said. Then, the few of them entered the shop. Here are some ingredients for brewing wine. They are all marked. Your wife can brew wine, so she must know the medicinal properties of these ingredients. Wu Feng took out a storage ring and handed it to Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow reached out to take it. Looking at the storage ring, he shook his head emotionally. What's wrong? Dachura asked. Once upon a time, storage rings were very rare in my eyes. What about now? They are just containers for ingredients that can be found everywhere, Knight Sorrow said. When the level rises, the scope of your view changes, Wu Feng said. Knight Sorrow handed the storage ring and a leather notebook to Dachura. Go back later and give the ingredients to Six's senior sister. Give this alchemy notebook to her too. Okay. Dachura nodded. You are carrying a lot of valuables now. Be careful and hide them. Don't think about buying a mansion. You will get one eventually. The ones you buy are all low grade, Wu Feng said. Brother Wu Feng, how do you know that I want to buy a mansion? Knight Sorrow asked in surprise. We all fought our way up from the bottom. Our hearts yearn for stability. That's why we always prioritize where we can settle down. Didn't you also buy a small courtyard when you came to Misty City? Edgeless said with a smile. Then I won't buy one for now. Knight Sorrow nodded. Wu Feng must have said that for his own good. After chatting with Knight Sorrow for a while and reminding Knight Sorrow to be careful, Wu Feng left the shop. As soon as Wu Feng left, Knight Sorrow's aura changed. His main body had improved. His space-time intent had reached 99%. He would become a space-time lord if he improved further. Knight Sorrow's 7th talent bloodline energy point was also active. He felt that when his will reached perfection, the 7th bloodline energy point would be completely activated. Dachura left. She had to hurry back. She didn't want to miss Knight Sorrow's battle. She also hoped that she would be by his side in every battle. Knight Sorrow was very happy that his space-time intent had increased by 1 point. After entering the Monarch realm, it was very difficult to increase one's will by 1 point. In a good mood, Knight Sorrow brewed a pot of tea. He also felt that he had to go to the Divine Devil Castle when he had time. He had to tell Elder Nalin and Elder Lang Yu that he might not have time to do any missions during this period. At this moment, Elder Nalin and Lang Yu were talking in the Divine Devil Castle. I didn't expect that the kid who caused such a commotion is one of our members, Nalin said. This kid can cause trouble, but he isn't someone who can be bullied. Originally, he didn't have anyone to protect him. It was easy for others to secretly attack him. Now it seems that won't happen, Lang Yu said. QIJ starter V. Well, unless it's a mission that has to be done by him, let's not arrange anything for him, Elder Nayland said. There's one more thing. He killed the main body of the Shadow Mansion's young mansion Lord Luo Fei during his last mission. The grudge is huge. Now that he's causing trouble and killing people in the blood battle arena every day, it's impossible that the Shadow Mansion doesn't know about it, Lang Yu said. Chapter 1567. Nayland, are you going to use your other identity to help him? Leng Lai asked. Not for now. If the Shadow Manor wants to deal with him, then we'll see how it goes, Elder Nayland said. Leng Lai nodded. They weren't obligated to protect anyone, but it wasn't easy to select the members of the Saint Devil Castle. If they could, they would take care of him. Knight Sorrow finished refining a longsword and handed it to the client. After informing him that he wouldn't be taking any orders today, he brewed a pot of tea. You just won 6 million Saint Spirit Stones. Do you need to work so hard to accept orders? Song Ning appeared in a loose robe. The robe didn't feel cumbersome on her, but it made her look more dignified. Sir, please have a seat. I don't think I should forget my original intentions just because I have the capital. This is my hobby. Also, when helping others, it's a way to accumulate resources. It's also a way to improve your support skills, Knight Sorrow said after inviting Song Ning to take a seat. Not forgetting your original intentions is something that many people can't do. It's not bad that you can do it. Tell me what you can refine and see if there's anything I need, Song Ning said after sitting down. I'm sorry. I'm a little tired today. I won't be taking any orders. I still have to fight tomorrow, Knight Sorrow said after wiping his face with a towel Lu Yun handed him. Tomorrow's fight will be a small one for you. If you felt pressured, you wouldn't be here to accept orders. Besides, I didn't say I was going to refine anything today. Song Ning looked at Knight Sorrow and made things clear. Even if I don't feel pressured, I will still respect my opponent. It's a form of respect for myself. As for what I can refine, I'll consider weapons, armor, and pills below the Emperor rank. If I can't accept any orders, I'll apologize and refuse, Knight Sorrow said. You can refine anything below the Emperor rank. Looks like you're quite capable. All right, I'll come and take a look another day. Song Ning glanced at Knight Sorrow, then stood up and left. Song Ning didn't come to refine anything. He just walked around and sent a message. Look at the original chapter, Section H. The forces of Sky Sun Prefecture and Guanyue Prefecture wouldn't attack Knight Sorrow for the time being, but it was hard to say when they would act out of desperation. There must be spies here, so Song Ning came here to send a signal to Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan. Everything had to be done according to the rules. Song Ning did this because of Edgeless and because he wanted to meet Knight Sorrow first and form a good relationship with him. As long as one was a high-level cultivator, almost all of them understood that some people were blessed by the heavenly axiom, and some people were blessed by the heavenly axiom. There were only benefits to being in contact with such people, and there were no disadvantages at all. The Deluxe Merit Grand Sage was a combination of both, and that was the recognition of the heavenly axiom. Not long after Song Ning left, Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan found out that Song Ning had met Knight Sorrow. Yang Tianlai was so angry that he smashed the teacup in his hand. He must die. Although he didn't change his original intention of killing Knight Sorrow, Yang Tianlai knew that there were some things he couldn't do. Facing Edgeless was fine. He wasn't as strong as Edgeless, but he had the City Lord's mansion and the Battle Emperor backing him. However, these were worthless in front of Song Ning. Song Ning's value was higher than his, and Song Ning and the Battle Emperor had a good relationship. Gong Yufan was also furious, but he also knew that if he wanted to kill Knight Sorrow, he had to do it openly. Knight Sorrow brought Ji Dao and Lu Yun back to the courtyard. Young master, can you guide me in my cultivation? In the future, I'll kill for you, Ji Dao said after returning. I can guide you in your cultivation, but as for killing for me, there's really no need for that. Saving your sister isn't a big deal, Knight Sorrow said. Young master, you can't refuse me. This is what we agreed on. Ji Dao's somewhat dispirited eyes lit up, and he became somewhat anxious. Good. Then let's talk about your saber art. You use your mind to activate your saber. Although it's powerful, it has some drawbacks. First, it's your own defense. Tell me about yourself first, Knight Sorrow said to Ji Dao. Ji Dao told Knight Sorrow that he came from an ancient tribe in the wasteland. However, everyone in the tribe cultivated sword arts, and only he cultivated saber arts. His saber arts were taught to him by a saber artist who came to their tribe later. He liked saber arts, so he focused on them. As for defense, he didn't have any movement skills. Then I'll teach you my movement skill, afterimage body. You'll have more ability to protect yourself. Knight Sorrow said as he taught afterimage body to Ji Dao. Knight Sorrow felt that afterimage body was suitable for Ji Dao because Ji Dao's soul power was very strong. While cultivating his movement skill, Ji Dao told Knight Sorrow that he had come out with a clone. His main body was cultivating in the tribe while taking care of his sister. Knight Sorrow knew that many people chose to leave their clones outside to avoid risks. If there was a problem with their clones, their main body would still be there. They wouldn't die completely. After resting for a night, Knight Sorrow arrived at Treasure Seeking Street early in the morning and accepted a mission. As long as he arrived at the blood battle platform before evening, he could still accept a mission. This mission was relatively easy. He just needed to refine a cauldron of Junhua pills. After refining the pills, Knight Sorrow instructed Lu Yun and Ji Dao to watch over the place before leaving Treasure Seeking Street and rushing towards the God Fiend Castle. He had been busy recently and might not be able to accept missions. He had to inform Elder Naylan and Elder Long Yu. When Knight Sorrow arrived, Elder Naylan brought Knight Sorrow to an elegant room in the underground castle. After taking off his mask, Knight Sorrow told Elder Naylan his purpose for coming. This situation is understandable. If there are any missions during this period, we will consider them carefully. Even if there are missions, we won't arrange them for you too urgently. We will also avoid the time when you need to fight, Elder Naylan said. Thank you, Elder. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands towards Elder Naylan. This is a dog-eat-dog world. You have to be careful. Some people are capable of doing anything, Elder Naylan reminded Knight Sorrow. Some people nowadays have no bottom line. Your combat strength is not a problem. Be careful and don't get ambushed. Lung Lai also appeared. Thank you, Elder Lung, for the reminder. Knight Sorrow said. He knew that Lang Lai was a kind person with a cold face. In addition, his identity was not a secret to Elder Naylan and Elder Lang Yu. There is one more thing. Have you thought about it? You fought so crazily in the blood battle platform. One of the 7 prefectures, Shadow Prefecture, must have paid attention to you. The young prefecture lord of Shadow Prefecture has a deep impression of you. If he sees you, he might recognize you. Elder Naylan looked at Knight Sorrow and said, if it was just a simple encounter, he might not be able to recognize me. At that time, I was faster and killed him directly. The problem is that once he finds a clairvoyant, this matter cannot be hidden. Knight Sorrow said. This was also a hidden danger for him. Chapter 1568. I don't want to join any faction. I don't want to be restricted. If I join someone else's faction, I'll have to do things according to their wishes. I don't like it. Knight Sorrow said. He didn't like this. When he joined the Qing Emperor's dynasty, it was because of the pressure from the Red Emperor's kingdom and the threat from the Red capital. He didn't have a choice. What you said is very common among family factions. In order to develop, some families will let their members do some immoral things. However, regular factions won't do that. Elder Naylan said. I'll think about it. Although Knight Sorrow decided not to join any other faction, he couldn't refuse the 2 elders' good intentions. After chatting for a while, Knight Sorrow left the Divine Castle. He had achieved his goal. After Knight Sorrow left, Elder Naylan and Lang Lai drank tea together. Looks like we wasted our breath. He didn't want to join us. He's so stubborn. Let's see how it goes. Lang Lai naturally knew that Knight Sorrow was just trying to shirk the responsibility. After leaving the Divine Castle and making sure no one was following them, Knight Sorrow took off his mask and returned to Treasure Street. He went to the stall. Mandela returned. After sending the materials back, She didn't stop to rest and immediately rushed back. So fast? Knight Sorrow asked in surprise. You had a battle today. How could I not come back? Datura said. It's nothing. I can handle it. Also, after you left, an Emperor Realm cultivator came. However, he just sat for a while and left. Knight Sorrow explained what happened after Tsongning came. That's a good thing. The fact that the Emperor Realm cultivators are walking around us is a sign of their attitude, said Mandela. Yi Shang nodded. He also understood the logic behind this. Looking at the sky, it was almost time to go to the blood battle arena. Knight Sorrow asked Ji Dao and Lu Yun if they were going. Knowing that the two of them were going, Yi Shang and Mandela took them to the blood battle platform in a beast carriage. The blood battle platform reserved a seat for Knight Sorrow in the attic. Nodding to Datura, Knight Sorrow sat in his usual seat while Datura led Ji Dao and Lu Yun to the attic to watch. After the talisman warrior appeared, he first introduced the two parties involved in the battle. Guan Hao hadn't fought many times in the blood battle arena, only twice. Just like Knight Sorrow, he had won both battles. With Tsongning's instructions, Rune focused on introducing Guan Hao. He talked about Guan Hao's growth history and achievements. He even talked about the situation outside the blood battle arena. But when he introduced Knight Sorrow, it was much simpler. He said that Knight Sorrow was strong and good at fighting head-on. After listening to Rune Warrior's introduction, Knight Sorrow was a little puzzled. Normally, Rune Warrior didn't need to be so biased. Then it was time to place bets. After hearing the payout ratio, Knight Sorrow knew that the blood battle arena was going to make a profit. Obviously, no one wanted to bet on him winning. Whether it was the payout ratio or the introduction, the blood battle arena gave people the feeling that Guan Hao had a high chance of winning. Of course, there was no fake information. It was just that people had to analyze the situation themselves. The Saint Spirit Stones were their own. No one forced them to bet. This time, the crowd went crazy. Almost all the spectators bet on Guan Hao winning, so they bet a lot of Saint Spirit Stones. In the eyes of the spectators, Knight Sorrow was only strong. There was nothing special about him. It wasn't easy for him to win 2 battles with such strength. On the other hand, Guan Hao had also won 2 battles, and his speed and strength were balanced. Now that the payout ratio was 1-2, who would bet on Knight Sorrow? Knight Sorrow smiled. The blood battle arena obviously didn't want him to win too much. A single bet was capped at 1 million. If Knight Sorrow and Datura both bet 1 million, they could only win 1 million Saint Spirit Stones. But how much did the blood battle arena want to win? Knight Sorrow felt that the blood battle arena must have studied him and knew his situation. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done this. Bets were placed and bets were collected crazily. A single battle exceeded 5 million, and the blood battle arena didn't stop. They were still collecting bets. After 15 minutes, the bets were placed. Except for a few people who bet on Knight Sorrow, almost everyone bet on Guan Hao. Gambling was a gamble to begin with. Furthermore, Guan Hao had the advantage according to the information. No one was foolish enough to bet on Knight Sorrow. Of course there were some. Wu Feng had bet 200,000. Jiang Yu had bet 50,000, and no one else. Tsongning was also there, but she didn't want to lead the way, so she naturally didn't bet. After Knight Sorrow and Datura placed their bets, Fu Wu stopped betting. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Just now, when I went to have a cup of tea, I sent a few people to collect bets. There was an error and it exceeded the limit of 5 million per battle. But don't worry. Since the blood battle arena can collect bets from everyone, we can afford to pay. We have this reputation, Fu Wu said. He did leave for a while, but Knight Sorrow knew that it was just an excuse. This time, the blood battle arena wanted to make a big killing. But so what if he knew? Entering the cage was a life and death battle. Knowing that the blood battle arena wanted to collect Saint Spirit Stones, Knight Sorrow had to accept it. He couldn't risk his life and go against the blood battle arena. Besides, the blood battle arena wanted to collect bets, and it had nothing to do with him. Knight Sorrow decided that this time, he would fight as hard as he could. When he came out, he had to negotiate with the blood battle arena. They had to give him some extra benefits. Otherwise, he would kill in the next battle and no one would earn anything. As the Soul Seeker gong rang, the battle began. Knight Sorrow was passively defending. After a few rounds, Knight Sorrow found that Guan Hao was inferior to Li Yuan and Vulture Lord. However, in order to smoothly attack Guan Yue Manor and to obtain more benefits, Knight Sorrow had to put on a show. He acted as if he was being suppressed by Guan Hao, like a boat that could capsize at any time in a storm. Little Star, did you see that? Look at how smart this guy is. His opponent is just a piece of trash, and he's playing so energetically, Songning said from the highest pavilion. This is a fraud, but the Manor Lord's goal has been achieved. This time, the Blood Battle Arena will earn more, Little Star said. She was in charge of investigating Knight Sorrow's information, and naturally knew about Knight Sorrow's situation. Under the protection of 2 Heaven Monarchs, he was able to kill Luo Fei, who was a Heaven Monarch. During the battle in the courtyard, Knight Sorrow killed 2 and severely injured 1 when he was surrounded by 6 Heaven Monarchs. All of these required strength. Strength alone wasn't enough. If this Great One didn't guess wrongly, he must be so cooperative because he wants to make a request. Otherwise, he has no reason to do so, Songning said. He wants to make a request? He is the one who challenged the other party. What qualifications does he have to make a request with the Blood Battle Arena? Little Star snorted. In her eyes, Knight Sorrow and the Blood Battle Arena couldn't be compared. Knight Sorrow didn't have the qualifications to make a request. Of course, there aren't many battles between Heaven Monarchs. The Battle of Heaven Monarchs is the main source of income for the Blood Battle Arena. If he doesn't get any benefits, he will kill in the next battle and not give the Blood Battle Arena a chance to make use of him. Songning looked at Little Star and felt that Little Star's subjective thinking was the same as the audience below. Chapter 1569. His strength exploded in anger and severely injured his opponent. Knight Sorrow's battle was very difficult. He appeared to be on the verge of death and made a comeback in anger. Go and call Fu Wu over, Songning instructed Little Star. At this moment, the Blood Battle Stage's cage was filled with curses from the people who had placed their bets. Guan Hao's death was a great loss for everyone. Almost everyone had bet on Guan Hao's victory. Knight Sorrow put away Guan Hao's weapon and walked out of the cage. He nodded at Fu Wu and then went to the pavilion where Dachira and the other 2 were. The pavilion's environment was very good. There was even free tea. Knight Sorrow drank a cup of tea and sat beside Dachira. Knight Sorrow, that Guan Hao is a piece of trash. Don't you feel tired acting like a monkey with him? Dachira asked. She knew that Knight Sorrow wanted to keep a low profile, but she still felt sullen. It's tiring, but it's worth it. Knight Sorrow smiled at Dachira. While the 2 were talking, the Blood Battle Stage's staff sent Dachira and Knight Sorrow's capital and dividends. The 2 of them had earned 1 million. Knight Sorrow, it seems like we were the only ones who placed 1 million. Apart from Brother Wufing and Jiang Yu's 100,000, the rest were all losses. The Blood Battle Stage made a huge profit, Dachira said. That's why I acted like a monkey with them, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Dachira patted Knight Sorrow's shoulder. She understood what Knight Sorrow meant. While Knight Sorrow was drinking tea, the Blood Battle Stage's staff asked if Chen Mutsuan of the Tianyang Prefecture had issued a challenge to Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow naturally gave an affirmative answer. At this moment, the Blood Battle Stage's host, Fu Wu, announced the next Heaven Monarch battle. It was the Tianyang Prefecture's Chen Mutsuan versus Knight Sorrow. What are the odds? Knight Sorrow has won 3 out of 3 matches. The odds will only go down, not up, right? A fat man with big ears shouted. Of course. Fu Wu nodded. He naturally understood. Although Knight Sorrow had won, no one was optimistic about Knight Sorrow's chances. Therefore, they were worried about Knight Sorrow's odds. Next up was King's Battle, but Knight Sorrow had no intention of leaving. He wanted to wait and see. 1 inch at this moment, Fu Wu was brought to the highest pavilion by Starlet. Sir, what are your orders? Fu Wu bowed and asked. I waited for you for a long time, thinking that you would handle it well, but you didn't. You're still lacking in the way you handle things. Everyone needs to earn the Holy Spirit stones. If you want to monopolize the Blood Battle platform, you're cutting off your path to riches. Songning looked at Fu Wu with dissatisfaction. Sir, if you have any orders, Fu Wu will do it now, Fu Wu said. He knew that there was something wrong with him. Otherwise, Song Ning wouldn't be so dissatisfied. When Night Sorrow is about to leave, bring him to the VIP room. He doesn't need to say anything. Just tell him directly that he can bet on himself. If he wins, we'll give him 3 times the amount. Also, regardless of whether he bets or not, we'll make sure that he earns no less than 1 million every match. However, the only requirement is that he has to continue playing like he did today, Song Ning said. I understand. I'll do it right away. Fu Wu bowed and left. Sir, that guy hasn't left yet. He's probably waiting for Fu Wu to come knocking on his door. Starlet said. He's smart. He knows that we'll come looking for him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have acted so well, Song Ning said as he looked at Night Sorrow's pavilion. After drinking a cup of tea, Night Sorrow stood up. If the other party isn't interested, then no one can earn anything. All right, let's go. As soon as Night Sorrow left the VIP room in the pavilion, Fu Wu walked out from the VIP room next to it. Sir Knight, this way please. The pavilions of the Blood Battle Arena all had arrays that isolated probing. Even the people next door didn't know who was talking or what they were talking about. You guys go back and wait for me. Night Sorrow waved his hand and told Dachura and the others to return to the VIP room in the pavilion to wait. Night Sorrow and Fu Wu entered the VIP room and sat down facing each other. In the future, when you bet on yourself winning, we'll triple the amount to you, sir, Fu Wu said. If the payout is low, then triple the amount is meaningless. Night Sorrow shook his head. He wasn't satisfied with this condition. The maximum bet for a single match was 1 million. His payout was low, so he wouldn't win much even if he bet 1 million. This is just the previous condition. We at the Blood Battle Arena can guarantee that you'll earn at least 1 million every time you win. However, we also have a request. Today's game was very interesting. It's something that both the Blood Battle Arena and Sir want to see. Fu Wu directly stated the bottom line that Song Ning had given him. Deal. Since the Blood Battle Arena is sincere, I naturally have no problem with it. This way, I don't need to care about the payout. I don't care how you introduce me before the battle, even if you call me an idiot. Night Sorrow stood up. Good. Sir is straightforward. Fu Wu also stood up. For you, sir, who made this decision. Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine and placed it on the table. Then, he turned and left the VIP room. He called Dachura and the others to leave the Blood Battle Arena. Fu Wu looked at the jar of wine in front of him and shook his head with a bitter smile. Then, he carried the jar of wine to the highest pavilion. Fu Wu placed the jar of wine in front of Song Ning and reported his conversation with Night Sorrow. Song Ning just waved his hand. The isolation array in the VIP room couldn't stop him from probing. Be smart in the future. Make the right decision at the right time. Everyone has the ability to earn money. If you want to monopolize everything, they won't give you the chance. No one is a fool. If they dare to enter the cage, they won't hold back, Song Ning said. Night Sorrow and the others left the Blood Battle Arena and sat in a beast-drawn carriage. Did the negotiation go well? Dachura asked. It went well. Their higher-ups saw my battle. Naturally, they need to give me an explanation. Night Sorrow then told them about the treatment given by the Blood Battle Arena. That host isn't stupid. That's a smart decision. Dachura said with a smile. It's not like that. When he saw me, he didn't make a decision based on the conversation. Instead, he said the arrangements of the Blood Battle Arena. Someone must have told him to do so, Night Sorrow said. Observant to the smallest detail. This is a true genius. Song Ning muttered to herself. She had interrupted Fu Wu just now because her soul power had shrouded the beast-drawn carriage Night Sorrow was in. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Song Ning felt that Night Sorrow's ability wasn't just in battle. He was also very strong in battle of wits. He could casually analyze a matter and come up with a theory. But he's still suppressed by the Sky Sun Prefecture and Guanyue Prefecture. He has to fight every day to get out of this predicament, Starlet said. What do you know? If they were on the same starting line, Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan wouldn't even be qualified to fight with him. So what if they fought? Which person doesn't face difficulties on the road to rise? In the future, don't belittle him. Not even one word. Song Ning glared at Starlet. Starlet understands. Starlet was stunned. Song Ning had never lost his temper with her before. Chapter 1570. Cultivators tried every possible means to obtain the blessing of providence and to obtain the blessings of the heavenly Tao, but it was very difficult. It was common sense not to do anything that would harm one's own luck. Knowing that Knight Sorrow was the deluxe merit Grand Sage, Song Ning would only help him out. He would not be a hindrance to Knight Sorrow's development. Of course, Knight Sorrow was now the deluxe merit Grand Sage, and his words were only at the 8th level. As an Imperial Realm cultivator, Song Ning was naturally not afraid. However, no one would do something that did not benefit them. The right thing to do was to form good karma. After returning to the villa, Knight Sorrow guided Ji Dao's cultivation. Then, he chatted with Datura and told her about the decision to go to the blood battle arena. Very good. After a few dozen battles, you'll be able to accumulate a large fortune. Of course, this requires strength. It's not a shortcut that anyone can take, Datura said. The celestial realm is different from our hometown. In our hometown, 1,000,000 Saint Spirit Stones can do a lot of things. However, in the celestial realm, a good mansion costs millions. It's not easy to accumulate wealth. Knight Sorrow shook his head. The more money he earned, the more expenses he would have. Yes. This is only the ethereal imperial city, and it's only a force in the celestial realm. It won't be easy for us to make a living here. However, this is a good start. With our Saint Spirit Stones, the construction of Star Moon Island will be smoother. Datura had sent the money she and Knight Sorrow had earned back to Star Moon Island the last time she went back. Imperial Realm. Only by entering the Imperial Realm can one have a foothold. No matter how strong a heavenly lord is, it's not enough in front of an Imperial Realm cultivator, Knight Sorrow said. Although he was aware of this, Knight Sorrow knew that this was not something that could be achieved in a short time. One had to know that the celestial realm was vast and there were countless realms around it. However, there were only so many Imperial Realm cultivators. They had been accumulating for billions of years. Imperial Realm cultivators did not just cultivate themselves. They also understood the world and used its power to battle. In terms of level and realm, they were superior. For the next few days, Yi Shang received a challenge every day and went to the blood battle stage. It was either the Heaven Monarchs from the Sky Sun Prefecture or the Guanyue Prefecture who challenged him, or he challenged them. Sometimes it was once a day, and sometimes it was once every 2 or 3 days. Knight Sorrow became a famous roly-poly. Every battle was very difficult, but he always won in the end. He was getting closer and closer to becoming the 10th champion. In the middle, Mandela completed a mission in the God-Fiend Castle, and went to kill a very powerful Heaven Monarch Realm demonic beast. Wu Feng often came to drink and chat with Knight Sorrow. Sometimes, he would comment on Knight Sorrow's opponents and talk about some of the Celestial Realm cultivators' fighting styles. In fact, he was indirectly guiding Knight Sorrow and giving Knight Sorrow some inspiration. Of course, he also knew that Knight Sorrow's trump card was very deep. Knight Sorrow's original body was still cultivating hard. However, he was cultivating the destruction intent. The space-time intent had reached a bottleneck. It was not so easy to break through. A 0V original initials. Send. Knight Sorrow's clone in the Heaven Sealing Hall was deducing some array formations that Knight Sorrow had obtained. He was also cultivating the Dragon's Bane. However, one thing caused a stir. After Knight Sorrow accepted an elixir business, he was enlightened and tried to refine an Emperor-grade elixir, the Source-fortifying elixir. As the name suggested, it was an elixir that stabilized one's life essence. The materials he used were the materials he exchanged for when refining elixirs. He succeeded. Knight Sorrow had used 4 drops of soul cultivation liquid. In addition, the 9-region origin pearl had been helping to nurture and nourish his soul energy. His soul energy was already at the Emperor grade. Therefore, he succeeded in refining the Emperor grade elixir. It was not rare to succeed in refining an Emperor grade elixir. What was rare was that Knight Sorrow had succeeded in refining an Emperor grade elixir with a Thunder Tribulation. The appearance of the Thunder Tribulation attracted a large number of experts. The prefecture masters of the nearby prefectures appeared in the sky above Treasure-Seeking Street. Prefecture Master Jiang Tianheng, Guanyue Prefecture Master Gong Yufan, Heavenly Sun Prefecture Master Yang Tianlai, 7 Stars Prefecture Master Lin Qixing, and Wu Feng were also here. Song Ning, who had concealed his aura, was also in the crowd. Emperor-grade cultivators were extremely sensitive to heavenly tribulations. When they noticed the thunder tribulation, they all came over. After the elixir had survived the thunder tribulation, Knight Sorrow opened his sleeves and put the thunder pattern source fortifying elixir into his storage ring. Knight Sorrow is very sorry for disturbing everyone. It was an unintentional mistake. Please forgive me. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands at the onlookers. He did not expect such a big commotion. However, he was very happy. This step proved that he was an emperor-grade alchemist. Haha! The birth of an emperor-grade alchemist is a good thing. What is there to be disturbed or apologetic about? It is a blessing for all cultivators that our prefecture master has appeared. Jiang Tianheng smiled and spoke very politely. There were not many emperor-grade alchemists, and even fewer who could refine a thunder pattern elixir. Many thanks for Prefecture Master Zhang's explanation. With Prefecture Master Zhang's explanation, Knight Sorrow can stay in Treasure-Seeking Street with peace of mind. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands at Jiang Tianheng. Jiang Tianheng also cupped his hands in return. I don't know what conflicts you have with the other prefectures, but to become an emperor-grade alchemist as an emperor-grade alchemist is amazing. I, Lin Qixing, will be waiting for you at any time. 7 Stars Prefecture Master Lin Qixing nodded at Knight Sorrow. Okay, I will definitely visit you if I have the chance. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands in return. 7 Stars Prefecture Master Lin Qixing gave Knight Sorrow a feeling that he was very heroic, but he was very easygoing and had the demeanor of a gentleman. However, Knight Sorrow also knew that Lin Qixing, the youngest of the 7 Prefecture Masters, was the most low-key one. However, no one dared to underestimate him. Lin Qixing left in a flash. Apart from interacting with Knight Sorrow, he only nodded at Jiang Tianheng and didn't even greet the other prefecture masters. It was as if he didn't know them. Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan also left in a flash. Seeing Knight Sorrow's prestige made them feel disgusted as if they had eaten a fly. Haha! Brother is mighty. Wu Feng was very happy. In the celestial realm, the emperor-grade alchemists were a group of respected people. No one dared to provoke them. Who knew when they would have to beg an emperor-grade alchemist? In addition, the emperor-grade alchemists had a wide range of connections. Offending an emperor-grade alchemist would easily incite public anger. Knight Sorrow invited Wu Feng into the back hall of the stall and poured a bowl of wine for him. Brother Wu Feng, I wonder how your wine is brewing. I'm a bit busy and didn't have time to go back and take a look. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. It's nothing. You don't have to call me Brother Wu Feng. Just call me Big Brother. Big Brother is happy to see your achievements. Let's have a drink. Wu Feng said. Big Brother. Knight Sorrow cheers to you. Knight Sorrow poured a bowl of wine and raised it to Wu Feng. Cheers. Wu Feng drank the wine in one gulp. That's great. However, Big Brother has something to tell you. Since you are the Emperor-grade alchemist, it's not appropriate for you to continue staying in this stall. An Emperor-grade alchemist should act like one. You have to open a big shop. Wu Feng said. Chapter 1571. That's simple. Find a luxurious building in Treasure-Seeking Street and open a shop. Are you worried that someone will cause trouble for you? That's fine. Big Brother can invest a little. No one will cause trouble for Big Brother, right? Wu Feng said. Sure, I'll do business with Big Brother, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. In fact, Knight Sorrow was used to this small stall and didn't want to move. However, he understood that he had to respect certain facts. Imperial preceptors were a group of people, a small group that was respected by others. To become an Imperial Preceptor and still hang around in a small stall on Treasure-Seeking Street was equivalent to slapping an Imperial Preceptor's face. It wasn't appropriate. People had to think for others. After drinking a few bowls of wine, Wu Feng left. Knight Sorrow and Datura looked at each other. Knight Sorrow, your cultivation hasn't advanced, but your alchemy skills have reached Tier 9. That's amazing. Datura's eyes were filled with joy. This was a milestone in Knight Sorrow's progress. Percent Eek first Sai sent. I only refined an Emperor-level pill. I can't be considered an imperial preceptor. Night Sorrow finished half a bowl of wine in his hand. How can you say that? You can already refine emperor-level pills. Perhaps you're still lacking, but you've already taken a crucial step. Datura corrected Night Sorrow's thoughts. Yes, I'll explore more in the future. This path can be taken. Night Sorrow nodded. He was also extremely happy. The lightning pattern source strengthening pill was very valuable. Following that, Night Sorrow and Datura discussed opening a shop. We aren't emperor-level cultivators. If we open a large shop, we won't be able to control the situation. However, Big Brother Wufeng won't have a problem. Not many people will dare to cause trouble, Datura said. Wufeng had just left Treasure-Seeking Street when he saw Tsong Ning. The two entered a tea house and ordered a pot of tea. This brother of yours is very impressive. He came to Ethereal Imperial City in the Rookie Graveyard without any background and managed to make a name for himself, Tsong Ning said after taking a sip of tea. His ability and control of the situation are stronger. Actually, the main point is that he does things righteously. He offended the villains and wasn't suppressed by the bigger picture, Edgeless said. That was the truth. If Night Sorrow had offended a major power that could set the rules, such as the City Lord's Mansion and the God-Fiend Castle, he would not have been able to gain a foothold. Because they wouldn't reason with you and would directly kill you. I have to admit that he's very capable. Why? Do you want to open a shop with him? You have to bring me along, Tsong Ning said. What are you doing? I only joined him because I was worried that others would cause trouble, Edgeless said to Tsong Ning. Stir up trouble. If you don't agree to join us, then I'll definitely interfere, Tsong Ning said. Why are you doing that? Edgeless said with a frown. He was somewhat against Tsong Ning interfering with Night Sorrow's business. No particular reason. It's just that when I want to refine something in the future, it'll be more convenient to have a partner. Don't worry, I won't make things difficult for him. Isn't it good to have a share in the shop? If you can't handle it, I'll handle it, Tsong Ning said. That's a deal. However, the profits of the shop will be decided by Night Sorrow, Edgeless said. I have no objections. I reckon he won't be interested in these small profits. He's a rich man now, Tsong Ning said. It's not easy for this little brother of mine to come to Ethereal Imperial City. He's unfamiliar with the place and people. Even if he earned a little in the blood battle arena, he risked his life for it, Edgeless said. Edgeless, you have many similarities with him, but you're not as shrewd and cunning as him. How much did he earn in the blood battle arena? If you have the chance, ask him how much he earned in the blood battle arena. If not 20 million Saint Spirit Stones, at least 10 million Saint Spirit Stones. How many people in Ethereal Imperial City can take out such an amount? Tsong Ning glanced at Edgeless and said. He earned that much? Edgeless was stunned for a moment because he knew Tsong Ning wouldn't joke about this. You should know that I know more about the blood battle arena. He's now nicknamed the Tumbler. In fact, we all know how strong he is. Does every victory have to be so difficult? Who are you kidding? He's much worse than you. Tsong Ning said. Haha. This isn't called bad. This is called being experienced. Very good. Edgeless said with a laugh. He was happy about Night Sorrow's situation. He was afraid that Night Sorrow would be at a disadvantage. All right, you guys choose the place. Let me know when you're done. Also, I've met him once. To avoid rejection, you can just say that I'm your friend, Tsong Ning said to Edgeless. You've made the right decision. If he knows your identity, he might have other thoughts. There's really no need for that, Edgeless said. Since when did I not need to look at other people's faces when doing things? Now I have to worry about it, Tsong Ning muttered. Edgeless smiled. He knew this was a good thing. If Tsong Ning was willing to hang out with Night Sorrow, it would be impossible for anyone in Ethereal Imperial City to use underhanded means. Night Sorrow walked around Treasure-Seeking Street after making today's order. He was looking for a shop. Treasure-Seeking Street was the busiest street in this area. However, it was a little low level. It was a mix of good and bad people. Night Sorrow was more familiar with the people here, so he didn't really want to leave. If there was a shop nearby, he planned to buy one. When they were shopping, they met Jiang Yu. Night Sorrow told him his idea. Look at the intersection between Treasure-Seeking Street and Tianhua Street. I heard that the boss of a pawn shop there lost a lot of money in the blood battle arena recently. He wants to sell his shop, but the price might be high, Jiangyu said. He lost and he wants a high price? He won't ask for a high price in a few days, Night Sorrow said. Why? Jiangyu didn't quite understand Night Sorrow's meaning. No reason. Because he will continue to lose. He won't be able to take it, Dachira said with a smile. Now, Night Sorrow had cheated a lot of people. The people who bet in the blood battle arena all thought that Night Sorrow would lose in the next round, so they bet crazily that Night Sorrow's opponent would win. However, after many rounds, Night Sorrow still didn't lose. There were a lot of people who were serious. They continued to bet, so they would continue to lose. Jiang Yu brought Night Sorrow to the intersection between Treasure-Seeking Street and Tianhua Street. A very impressive pawn shop appeared in front of them. This is it, Jiang Yu said. Night Sorrow led them in. The location of the pawn shop was very good, and the attic was very grand. He was quite satisfied. Now, he just wanted to see what the boss of the pawn shop wanted. After informing the waiter that they wanted to see the boss, Yishang and the others sat down. Who wants to see me? At this time, a fatty came out. His cultivation was the same as Night Sorrow and Dachira. It's me, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 1572. How did I cheat you of your Holy Spirit stones? Night Sorrow laughed. He knew what was going on. This damned fatty was one of the loudest people in the blood battle platform. Every time he shouted, Night Sorrow's opponent would cut down Night Sorrow's opponent. You made me lose 6 matches in a row. I've lost 3 million Saint Spirit Stones, you know? 3 million Saint Spirit Stones. It's my accumulated wealth over countless years. Fatty roared. You're the one who doesn't believe me. If you believe me, I can earn 3 million without a problem, Night Sorrow said. Believe you? I believe you, you bastard. You'll fall soon. Fatty roared with a red face. Then in the next round, you bet 3 million on me losing. If I lose, you'll get your money back. Night Sorrow's face was full of smiles. He didn't care what this fatty said. What's the point of talking if it's 3 million? Fatty glared at Night Sorrow and roared. I heard that your pawn shop is for sale. I'm interested in it. Sell it to me, and then you can buy me off. Isn't it good to use my money to buy me off? Night Sorrow revealed his intentions. At this moment, the fatty calmed down. He didn't have any more Holy Spirit Stones, so he released the news that he was going to sell them. Ziyong. Long Zay Free Read. Novel 8. It's for sale. How much are you offering? Fatty looked at Night Sorrow and asked. More importantly, how much do you want? Night Sorrow asked. He didn't do business, but he knew how to deal with people. 2 million Saint Spirit Stones, Fatty quoted. Are you crazy? You dare to ask for 2 million? Before Night Sorrow could speak, Jiang Yu stood up. What's wrong with 2 million? This is the best location and the best shop, Fatty said. Jiang Yu, what's the real value of this place? There's no need to bargain, Night Sorrow asked Jiang Yu. 1 million Saint Spirit Stones at most. Jiang Yu nodded at Night Sorrow. 1 million. Night Sorrow looked at Fatty and asked. I'm not selling. I still have 300,000 left. I'll continue to buy you, Fatty roared again. I won't die even if you die. If you want to sell it, you know where to find me. Let's go. Night Sorrow stood up and walked out. Since he had already achieved his goal, there was no point in staying any longer. Even if this fatty wanted to die, there was no point in negotiating. Perhaps next time would be the time to negotiate. After leaving the pawn shop, Night Sorrow turned around and took a look. Not bad. This place suits my appetite. Just now, Night Sorrow had probed a bit. This fatty's pawn shop not only had a very extravagant front, but also a very large courtyard behind it. The courtyard was very large, and there were also some suitable attics behind it that were suitable for living. It was just that the price was a bit too high. He could afford 2 million Night Sorrow, but no one would spend money for no reason. Night Sorrow, that bastard, I don't think he'll sell it, Dachira said. He still has 300,000 left. If he loses the next round, he won't be so arrogant. If he wants to recoup his losses, what will he do if he doesn't have the capital? Knight Sorrow smiled. I've already won a few 100,000 from your recent wins, Jiangyu said with a smile. She placed 50,000 every round to show her support for Knight Sorrow. In the beginning, Knight Sorrow's odds were high, so she earned more. Now, she only earned 10 to 20,000 per round. The odds for Knight Sorrow's roly-poly had dropped, and now it was 3 to 1. Knight Sorrow and the others left. Fatty was cursing and swearing, feeling very unhappy. Knight Sorrow was going to lose every time he went out, but he managed to pull through every time. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been nicknamed the roly-poly. Because of this, no one bet on him winning. I don't believe you won't fall. Fatty finished speaking and walked towards the blood battle stage as there was a battle in the evening. It was a grudge battle between Knight Sorrow and the Heaven Monarch of the Moon-Gazing Prefecture. Knight Sorrow and the others also got on the beast carriage and rushed towards the blood battle stage. This time, Knight Sorrow's opponent was the Heaven Monarch of the Moon-Gazing Prefecture, Lang Yi. He was also the 5th Heaven Monarch that Knight Sorrow had challenged. Recently, Xiaofan was very annoyed. He knew that Knight Sorrow was originally going to challenge the Heaven Sun Prefecture. It was because he said something wrong that day and attracted hatred, causing Knight Sorrow to specifically challenge the Heaven Monarchs of the Moon-Gazing Prefecture. What was the current situation? The Heaven Monarchs of the Heaven Sun Prefecture were constantly challenging Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow didn't want to take revenge for Yangyu, but Knight Sorrow was ruthlessly challenging the Heaven Monarchs of the Moon-Gazing Prefecture. In the blood battle stage, after the host introduced the situation of both parties, it was time to place bets. Knight Sorrow casually bet 100,000 on himself as it was meaningless to bet a few 100,000. If one bet 500,000, when one left, the blood battle stage would return the 500,000 and add another million as reward. It was the same if one bet 100,000. Datura knew that Knight Sorrow had an agreement with the blood battle stage. Therefore, he didn't place an excessive bet. He only placed 200,000 as a token. 200,000 would only bring him less than 70,000. The odds for Knight Sorrow were 3-1. Seamless and Jiang Yu also played a little bit to show their support for him. 300,000 on the roly-poly. The fat boss of the pawn shop, who was wearing a red robe, roared. Following this roar, a wave of bets was set off. No one was optimistic about Knight Sorrow's roly-poly. On the top floor of the tallest building, Song Ning sat near the crystal window. He held a teacup in his hand and looked down at the fighting cage below. This acting skill is not bad. It's not easy for a roly-poly to make a name for himself. Yes, this guy has earned a lot of Saint Spirit Stones for the blood battle stage. At least 70 to 80 million Saint Spirit Stones. It might even be over 100 million, said Starlet. It's easy to win, but it's difficult to win by stumbling and not letting others see anything. This requires one's own strength and control of the situation. It's not easy to do. After this battle, he will be the 10th champion. After the battle, go and inform Fu Wen to prepare a generous gift for Knight Sorrow. We have to be kind to talents and people who help us, said Song Ning. Starlet bowed and left. Song Ning looked at the noisy crowd below, and knew that there were many wise people who had been blinded. However, this was only a temporary situation. No one who came here to play was a fool. After this battle, when Knight Sorrow became the 10th champion, many people would understand. Because none of the 10 champions of the blood battle stage were rookies. Being able to become the 10th champion was very clear. No matter what happened next, Song Ning felt that it was a good thing to be able to earn over 100 million Saint Spirit Stones for the blood battle stage. After introducing both sides and placing their bets, Lang Yi entered the cage first, followed by Knight Sorrow. I heard that if you win one more time, you will become the 10th Arena Lord. If a roly-poly like you really becomes the 10th Arena Lord, it will be a disgrace to all cultivators and the blood battle arena. Don't think about humiliating everyone, so this will be your last battle. Lang Yi waved the trident in his right hand. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.